a ghostly little girl popped up and was like, "Hey, I look forward to seeing you at my not haunted house." And I was like, "Should we bring
Yes.
snacks?" And she vanished before answering, so I don't know if we should have brought snacks or not.
Well, that's a
Always
shame.
have snacks.
I mean, if you have to if you have to ask, then it's better to err on the side of yes.
Hmm.
Let's
I mean,
see.
all I've got are these pokey treats.
All right, so last we left off, or I should say last session, you had gone to meet up with Lyndon at the ranger hut in front of Eterna's forest. But it seems like he had gone on ahead because something was weird. And the ranger who was standing by there said as much. Instead, you had his mischievous, or as much his as not so much his as she likes to follow him around, as far as he says. But she led you down the path to the mansion there. While you were there, you met up with a couple spooky things and a couple of spooky but still mundane things like spiders. You ran into, let's see, a fairy ring made of stumps, a supply cache. Something weird happened there that you only found out the exact ramifications later. You also ran into a lake where you had camped out. Had a strange dream, or at least most of you did, and before you were ambushed by a bunch of angry spiders. Angry because, or maybe not so much angry, they followed you from after you rescued a deerling that was caught in their web. Tracked you down basically with some stray thread that was hanging around. And then after you fought them off, it was a relatively short journey to the old chateau itself, which you now stand in front of. It looks a little bit foreboding. Strangely enough, there is a light on in one of the windows, but the rest of the house is dark.
Okay.
Well, I guess we better get our butts on up there.
Looks between everyone else. Looks at the obviously haunted house. Oh, great.
I guess we were politely invited. As long as nobody
Yeah.
has sage, it's fine.
Politely.
What if we have sage?
Don't eat it. Throw it over the fence.
What, into the grounds?
Yes.
But then
If
it'll
you go
be
into a-
then it'll be in the
If you
ghost
go into a
house.
vampire's house, do you have to ask permission first before you can be invited?
Don't they have to ask permission to get into your house and not the
Yeah,
opposite?
Well,
think
other
that's
way
the joke.
round.
That's the joke.
It's a
I mean,
joke.
unless you're also a vampire, in which case maybe.
I guess we should just go up and politely knock and hope for the best.
If a vampire chases me out of their house, and I nip out the front door, turn around, and piss across the doorway, are they unable to cross the flowing water?
That's not fair.
I mean, I don't think many people would want to cross that flowing water.
I think you're vastly overestimating the difficulty of crossing my piss stream, but okay.
I don't think
It's not about the difficulty.
Or without getting hit by it, even.
I see.
It's
Well,
not
I
a.
don't know.
It's not a torrent.
How much dexterity do you have, and what's your aim on with that thing?
Not great. Not great.
With that thing, nice.
You think the vampire would
Hey,
be more
I
concerned,
was
like,
referring
oh,
to the
underage penis, no.
I was
Wait.
referring to the piss
My
stream.
penis isn't underage.
The Miles is. He's 13. The vampire doesn't want to get cancer.
No, I was talking about my Tom's piss stream.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
a
he's
lot of
getting
vampires.
personal on this shit.
Well, Esme's gonna go knock on the door.
Okay.
Nothing really stops you. Oh, I think I just made this thing shorter. So nothing stops you. Doesn't seem like there's like the gate is open. And, yeah, I mean, you can go up and knock on the door. The doors are quite large. It is a mansion. And let's see, what does it actually show on this picture? To be accurate. Okay, so yeah, it is a set of double doors, and they seem to be made of quite the solid material. And as you knock, it doesn't make too much sound because they are quite thick. But you can at least hear your rapping on the door from the outside. You don't know how deep it resonates inside. But after a few seconds, there is no response.
Is there a tasseled rope that we need to pull that makes a big ding dong?
It seems that there is a large door knocker on the doors. No tasseled rope, though.
Oh well, there we go. I think it should be the strongest of us that does that. Which I think
Alright.
is actually Esme.
I was
Knock
gonna
on
say,
the
if
door.
we're going off athletics, probably is me.
If you want to use that, give me an athletics roll to see how loud you are.
Yeah.
Oh,
That has a lot of correlation there, I guess.
no. Alright, hang on. Athletics.
Yep. Okay. So the door knockers are a little rusted, but they seem to be in surprisingly good shape, given that they've been out here and seemingly not taken care of for looks like probably years. A good amount of the house itself is overgrown, but basically you're able to lift the door knocker after a little bit of it flicks off, and you ram it into the part that's attached to the door, and this time you hear quite a loud echo around you. You notice how quiet the forest seems now that this noise appears. You don't really hear any sound of Pokemon around you, but there doesn't seem to be much response at first. A few seconds later, though, the door that you didn't knock on opens just a sliver toward the inside.
Hello.
There is no response to your greetings.
The forest seemed to want, like, it seemed to want us to come here, so we're here and asking if it's okay if we come inside.
We also have evidence that Lyndon's in the general area, if not necessarily in the house, he's at least in the area, right?
Oh yeah, did you see a confused redhead come through here?
Who are you talking to
Yeah,
specifically?
Lucas looks around, looks back at Esme and goes, Who are you talking to?
I'm talking to the face in the sliver of door. I assume there's a face. If not,
There
I'm
is-
imagining one.
There is no face. The door just opened. You don't see anything inside.
Hey guys, maybe it wants us to come inside. It hasn't slammed the door in my face yet.
One
This
side, then.
this seems
Cancel
reasonable.
step inside the door.
Hello, ghosts. May we come inside? We're asking
Luke,
respectfully.
Lucas opens the door and walks inside.
Oh, Lucas, I was asking for permission. You fool.
The
So-
door got
Lucas is,
open with some permissions.
So Esme
Lucas
and Miles are treating this like a ghost hunter investigation. Chance is treating this like urban exploration. And Lucas is
Yeah.
treating this like a bother.
What else
Yes.
is new?
Well,
Look,
Lucas
I'm
is
on
not-
brand. I'm on brand.
Yeah.
Kick
Lucas
door
is either
open.
uncomprehending or uncaring of social conventions.
Oh yeah,
because-
no. Lucas is uncomprehending because the place is clearly not inhabited. Like there's a light on, but bullshit. It's ghost Pokemon, and the thing just opened the bloody door, and everyone's like, "Oh, can we come inside?" It's like, no, that's why I opened the door. No, it's he's just walking in.
On the bright side, you now have proof that Lucas is probably not a vampire.
No,
But when you go inside, this is more or less what you see, minus all of the ghost Pokemon that are in this picture.
Oh. Fana. Oh, why can't you be Will?
And it's all of the ghost postmen in this picture for now.
Yeah, they're not there for now. But let's that's a brief flavor splash art. But there's actually a map for this.
Ooh.
It looks like my grandparents' place.
You have a lovely home. Ooh, pillars.
The your voice echoes.
Ooh, are these ionic?
Ionic.
Oh, that's the thing, isn't it? Is it ionic?
Ionic, yeah. It's one of the pillar types.
Type of pillar?
Oh, that's what you mean.
Do the pillars look like they're actually like? Are they holding up the roof, or are they purely decoration?
Let me put you back on the flavor thing. So they're not ionic, it seems. They're just mostly rounded. And I mean, if you were an architect, you could probably tell if they were structurally significant. The answer is, from my understanding, probably not. They're probably decorative. At least the ones that are like in the middle of the room. And despite the fact that this map looks pretty well lit, it's actually pretty dark here. The main thing that lets you see is the moonlight that's shining in through the windows, which is surprisingly bright, and it almost seems to be coming from multiple directions, as if it was reflecting off something into the house.
Oh, okay. So it looks like this room is like roughly 30, 40 feet high, based on that picture.
Probably higher than that, to be honest.
Okay. So like this is like a mini multi-story house, or
Yeah. This is
and-
like
and
an open concept foyer with 2 floors and everything, just like an open. Well, it's 2 floors in one, yeah. Or
Okay. So, a quick question. Looking around the room, does it look like the room has been disturbed by humans in any particular direction for quite some time?
make me a. Well, it depends. What are you looking for?
Um, I'm assuming I'm hoping it's dusty, and I'm hoping that there's tracks in the dust.
Okay. Make me a survival check. Okay. Let's see. It is somewhat dusty, maybe less so than you would have expected, given the apparent long duration of not being used. Maybe there's a couple windows or something that are broken somewhere. And now that you check for it, you do feel like a very slight breeze inside the house. There does seem to be. It's hard to tell how recent it was, but there does seem to be some disturbance in the dust, at least near the entryway. And it seems to continue forward into the foyer, but then it's a little bit indistinct from there, which direction it went.
Was there a Giratina statue up here?
So that was in the picture,
Dialga, isn't
in
it?
the flavor picture, it was Giratina. Here, I would say it's probably Dalga.
Hmm.
Also, because apparently there aren't any sprites for any other statues. So Dalga also happens to make sense. So
Don't think too hard about it.
Oh, I just want
Probably
to know
don't
what the inscription says.
sure. The inscription is fairly well preserved since it's inside the house. It's kind of a explanatory one, in that it kind of informs what kind of creature Dialga is said to be. and it has a little extra blurb about how the what's the word I'm looking for? The tranquility of Eterna Forest is said to be thanks to its power. But then it also mentions that these are all legends, so it's hard to tell how much stock to put into it.
So is this door? Is this actually a door? Does it go somewhere? Is
Yep,
there?
so there's the doors the doors here are open. It seems when you look inside, it's actually so it's a dining room. It seems like there's a very long table in a very long hall. At the far end, so further north, there are a lot of windows, and maybe one or two of them is broken, which explains where the breeze is coming from. And there is also a door that seems to be leading out back. To the right, there's another small room, and to the left is another small room.
Right. Okay. So Miles will sort of turn around to everyone and go, "Does anyone remember who we're supposed to be giving these flowers to? That's why we're here, isn't it? Apart from Lyndon.
Yeah, I was gonna
Am I
say mostly
misremembering?
meeting Linden. I don't remember where we were supposed to take the flowers. I think it was like a gravestone, right?
Yeah, so the old man Jenkins there mentioned that he had wanted to show the flowers to um, the young girl who had lived at this mansion before. But he also mentioned that she had passed away some time ago. So that a grave would be the most reasonable assumption.
Yeah, I was gonna say if not a grave, which more than likely would be like out in the backyard or something like that, then maybe like a shrine or something like that in the house.
Right.
Makes sense.
Right.
From where you stand, the backyard seems fairly overgrown, which makes sense because it hasn't been taken care of for quite some time.
Well, are we sticking together while we go around the obviously haunted house, or are
Yes.
we
Yes.
splitting
Yes.
up?
Yes, we should
Clearly
stick
need to split
together.
up.
We should stick together. We are not Scooby Doo.
What do you mean you don't want to split up and search for clues?
All right. Well,
I was thinking cabin in the woods, but
Yes. Lucas, lead the way. You're the
Okay,
survivalist.
you said
I-
you saw a dining room, right? Like, well, why don't we actually try to go to the backyard first and see if
I
there's a
was gonna say
grave out there?
I'm the survivalist, not the occultist. But yeah, if we're looking for a grave, let's check the backyard. Does
Okay.
that mean we have to go out the front again, and go around the side, or what?
Let's try going through the house.
Well, then
Through
I'm
the
gonna
front.
go through here because it's a dining room, and maybe
Okay.
there's something helpful in here. I don't know. I'm gonna have a look.
Sure.
We're with you.
So, as you walk into the room, you let's see. Let's have Lucas make me a survival check.
Sure.
Hey, that's the thing you're good at.
Yeah, if I can roll better than. To be fair, it's still a pretty decent roll. It's better than anyone on 2d6 can do, I guess.
So you can see now that you're here that there are some faint footprints at the doorway. There's a lot less dust here than in the foyer, but it does seem like someone had walked here recently. You don't see anyone immediately, though, although it is dark, so maybe they're around, but it's not easily visible. However, everyone who goes into that room can hear a familiar bell chiming.
Okay,
And
so
Lyndon.
sorry if I misunderstood. So the
Yep.
dust is disturbed, but I can't see
A
who's
little,
done it.
yes. Well, you don't see the source of it because there doesn't seem to be anyone here right now.
Sure.
You hear a familiar bell chiming. It seems to be Lyndon's chime echo, but you don't see it or the source of the sound, despite the fact that it sounds fairly close. and it does seem a little bit muffled.
Trying to
The
blend
sound of
in.
the bell seems muffled.
Yes.
Lyndon,
Like-
are you alive?
It's like you're hearing it through several layers of fabric.
Oh, let's look under the table.
So, if you look under the table,
Yes.
You see the ring girl.
no,
My
no.
sister.
You briefly see, well, nothing right in front of you. If you look around, so the table's very long, so it's almost like a hallway on its own. So if you look to the left and right, when you look on the left, you see something glowing in the distance, 2 pinpricks. But then as soon as you see them, they disappear. But it doesn't seem like there's a chime echo underneath the table.
Eyes.
Does
Hmm.
the length of the table and the room track with the profile of the mansion as we look from the outside?
Yes, it is. Let me. I didn't actually make a map for this one, but let me post the original one from the games.
I wonder if Solo sees anything besides imminent
Yeah.
death.
Sola has dark vision, so she
Right.
might see things better than us.
Yeah. So Sola seems to be looking at the far left corner of the room, toward the garden. This is actually standing. So the doorway, like the door to the back garden, is on the right side of the room, roughly. To the left, it's just windows across the back wall. But he seems to be looking at something towards the left corner. It is not where the things that Esme just saw were, because those were under the table.
I mean, I'm just gonna tell her to, if she sees anything, to take me to it, and I'll just follow her.
Sure. When you follow her, you do eventually see what looks like a figure standing there, fairly motionless, near the corner of the room. When you get a little closer, you can see that it looks like a butler.
Randolph.
And surprisingly, he does look a little bit like Randolph.
Yes.
Hello.
And when you get within, let's say, 20 feet of him, he gives you a sudden and short bow before he turns toward the room on the left and walks smoothly into that room and disappears around a corner. It's a little bit mysterious because his walk is very smooth. Almost, you know how when people walk, they usually bob up and down a little bit.
Is it a bit uncanny valley animatronic style?
No, it's more like he just doesn't. The altitude of his head doesn't change like at all.
Oh Lord, he
It's
floating.
almost like, yeah, it's almost like he's sliding across the ground.
Oh, okay.
Should we follow what is obviously Ghost Randolph? Randolph, if you will.
I mean, has he gone into the little section on the left of the image you sent us?
Yes.
Essentially.
So he's gone around the wall basically. And you walk right of him.
I mean, I'll wander in there and see what's going on. I mean, he's the only thing I found that is interactive so far.
Okay. So you follow, and when you get into the kitchen, there is nobody there. But
Bad.
there does seem to be a plate of surprisingly fresh-looking sandwiches on the closest countertop.
That
seems to
really
be
is some Scooby Doo ass shit.
Miles.
So we thinking Fey food that keeps you trapped in the house, or we thinking like Alice in Wonderland, or we thinking what are we thinking here?
I'm
I
gonna
think-
go out on
okay,
a limb and let's not eat random sandwiches in an abandoned house in the middle of the woods.
So I'm thinking maybe that got invited and their sandwiches.
Esme's gonna take a seat at the table if that's possible. Because the ghostly voice did say that she looked forward to our visit, so we should be good guests.
Yep. So the chairs aren't all intact. It's a little dusty. You can brush it off pretty easily, and take a seat at the table. Where do you sit?
Not directly in front of these sandwiches, but nearby.
Okay, so the sandwiches are in the kitchen still. They're not on the table itself. So if you look at the image that I posted in general, they're in the room on the left. The table is in that big middle room.
Ah. I guess just fairly close to the kitchen then.
Okay.
And
So-
I feel like we should wait for our host to join us before air quotes eating.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be rude otherwise. Yeah, let's sit at the ghost table.
Okay. So, let's see.
Chance is gonna be. You said the door to the garden was on the right. Is it
Yes.
in the room with the table? I
Yes,
don't see a door anywhere.
Yeah, it's not in that picture.
Yeah.
There are basically more windows on the back wall, like it's almost all windows on the back wall, and then there's a door on the top right part of that
Okay.
room.
All right, so then yeah, Chance is probably somewhere like in the middle of the room on the back wall, looking out towards the garden.
Sure. So like I said, the back garden is quite overgrown. You see that there's fairly tall grass and wildflowers basically growing there. The typical stuff you saw in the forest, just pretty dense here. But you do see something at the back in the distance, where it looks like gardens would be. It's a little bit far, so you can't make it out, but it looks like there's like a small stone monument there. And if you try to open the door, it repels you slightly.
Ooh.
The door repels you?
Yep, so Chance can't actually get his hand close enough to touch the handle.
Huh.
And it's not painful or anything, it's just as if there's
Is it like a
more
force
resistance.
field, or
There's
is
more
it like,
the further you go, and it's like trying to push through a wall at the closest point.
It's like
Okay.
magnets.
Yeah, basically. Except you don't feel the force if you start pulling back at all.
Mhm.
Not
Well,
allowed
What if
out
we were
there.
yeah, what if we were to present the door with the flowers?
I'm not
Is
ready
Chance-
to do that yet.
Is Chance going to romance the door?
I'm gonna ask the door out.
Sorry, excuse me just a moment.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna let everybody else in the party do their thing. I'm just kind of looking out in the backyard, trying to find the grave, perhaps underneath some of the undergrowth.
Yeah, so you can sort of see something that might be a grave. It's a little bit far and it is like kind of covered, but you can see something that looks like it might be there. You just can't get out there, it seems.
And I'm gonna look out of the window to
Yep.
the extreme left and right of where I am currently, and see
Yep.
if there's any other alternative pathways to the backyard from the interior of the house.
Yep. So it's similarly overgrown, but it seems like there is a path on the right side of the house
Okay.
that would lead back there. Okay.
Back, sorry about that.
Let's see. Where is? Okay, so Lucas followed Butler Boy into the kitchen, saw some sandwiches. What is Miles doing?
Miles is sitting next to Esme.
Okay, so let's have both of you roll. Let's have both of you roll focus.
Oh, good.
I never got round to that. Oh shit.
Okay. Yeah. So, um, you basically sit and wait for your hosts to join you. And it doesn't seem like anything happens, but Esme can very faintly hear what sounds like the clink of cutlery um, coming from quite close by, but again, it sounds muffled as if it's coming through a couple layers of cloth. And you don't see anything moving.
Sounds like you're periodically trying to RP the muffling.
Yeah.
I see. How's this?
Oh,
God.
much
Better.
better. Holy
Much
hell.
better.
It was so my lapel microphone is just. I guess I just wasn't speaking into it.
Yeah, just get it inside your mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah. yeah.
Oh no.
Oh god.
We all just got deep throated.
You can hear the sound of the ocean or something
Or something.
or something.
Can Esme poke her head into the kitchen?
Sure.
Esme, no, you're
she-
snooping. You're snooping where you ought not
roll me
snoop.
athletic. So roll me athletics to see if you can poke your head through the wall into the kitchen.
Fine.
I'm kidding. So
I
you
will.
see Lucas standing there in front of a plate of 4 sandwiches, or no, let's say there's a bit extra. Let's say there's 6 sandwiches. And he's kind of looking at them skeptically, I imagine. But you don't
Yeah,
see
he's,
anyone else there.
he's kind of just looking around the whole kitchen skeptically at this point. It's like, where the fuck is this person?
Sure. And if you explore around, it doesn't seem like he's hiding anywhere. It would be unbecoming of a butler to be like hiding behind a low counter or something anyway, but you don't seem to find him.
Sure.
Randolph, can we help set the table? We need direction, Randolph. We're very uncultured.
You don't hear any response.
We don't set the table, we're the guests.
But Randolph needs help. He might be the lone butler in this big-ass mansion.
Then we should be patient and understanding of the time it takes to be served. And don't
Fine.
eat your salad with your fish fork.
Okay.
I keep forgetting Miles is like a rich kid.
Miles is canonically a rich kid.
Oh no.
Let's see. Okay, so here's what happens. Lucas and Esme hear a sound like something rattling on the northeast of that kitchen. So it seems like it's coming from the garbage bin.
Sure.
And Miles at the same time hears some rattling from one of the windows to his northeast.
Ooh, Miles will look at the window.
Okay.
I mean, Esme's gonna look in the garbage, obviously.
Okay. Even though you heard a sound there, you don't see anything there. And the rattling stops pretty much as soon as it starts. It just caught your attention briefly, and the same kind of goes with Miles. But when Miles looks back at the table, there's a plate of sandwiches in front of him.
Oh. Okay.
There's 6 of them, and they look pretty fresh. They're stacked neatly on the plate.
No dust on the plate or anything?
Oh, looks almost pristine, actually.
Oh.
What's in them?
That depends. What does Miles like?
Oh. I don't know. I haven't thought about that.
So you've come a decent way with like trail rations and stuff, whatever you pack on the road. And these, whatever they have in them, it does look like it would hit the spot. It seems pretty, the ingredients are fresh looking, juicy even. Like there's, I'm just gonna throw something out there. Like, there's lettuce with that.
He's 13, so he probably likes like peanut butter and jelly or something.
Okay, sure. Then yeah, there's a couple different types of sandwiches on the plate, but there does seem to be one with just a little bit of peanut butter peeking out the side.
No, it's not a good PB&J if it's not leaking a little, right?
Yeah.
Hey guys, the sandwiches.
Because Esme will look at Lucas and be like, should we join Miles?
Lucas picks up one of the sandwiches that he's been staring at suspiciously for fuck knows how long and just takes it through into the other room.
So funny you say that because the plate that was in the kitchen is no longer there.
Oh,
He's
fucking...
He's been staring at it that whole time. He blinks once and it's just fucking gone.
Yeah.
Oh no. I guess Esme will go and, like, sit with Miles and look at the
Lo-
sandwich.
Lo and behold, that seems to be the same plate of sandwiches that you just saw in the kitchen.
Mmm.
Lucas, behold.
Yeah,
Magic sandwich.
I kind of figured that's what was going to have happened.
Well, Esme is dumb, so I guess she will try a sandwich.
Okay. And, it doesn't seem like there's anything strange about it. Tastes about as good as it looks, and it looks pretty damn good. And it hits the spot. You do feel a little bit odd. Make me a... Let's see. Make me another focus check. Does Miles also dig in?
Miles is not yet convinced that these aren't some
I
kind of fake contract sandwiches.
Sure. Let's see. Did Lucas join them back in the main room? Or is he still in the kitchen?
No, he's kind of getting tired of all the fuckery, and it's probably heard Esme go, "Oh, there's sandwiches." Just rolled his eyes, and then, and then he, if I've looked through like the entire kitchen to see if there's anything going on, then he will have wandered back out. He won't really be paying attention to what's going on though. He'll be maybe looking out in the back garden with Chance or whatever.
Sure. You don't find anything unusual in the kitchen other than the fact that there doesn't seem to be a single clean plate anywhere. So it's kind of weird where they got that. But yeah, you don't find anything unusual in that room.
Sure.
So while you're eating, Esme, I would say like in 85% of your mind, it tastes delicious and just as good as it looks. But the other 15% of yourself feels like you're not quite getting filled up in the same way as if you were eating, like food at a restaurant in your hometown or something like that.
They are ghost sandwiches.
Feels just a little bit insubstantial.
Hmm.
But I mean, you're able to, as far as you can tell, you can hold them and eat them, and they taste nice.
Oh no, we're dead.
What? Does Miles say that out loud?
Yeah, go on then.
Lucas like snaps around, looks at him, and goes, "What?"
Well, these are ghost sandwiches, but we can touch them, so we must also be ghosts, so we're dead.
I think that this is somebody's genuine attempt to treat us like good guests, and I think they did the best with what they could, and it's very delicious, and I'm appreciative of them, regardless.
Sorry, can we rewind to the bit where someone just said, "These are ghost sandwiches"?
I mean, they're at least partially ghost made. You know, it's like when you go to like a little vegan bakery and everything, and it's like proudly ghost made, you know?
Yeah.
You know what you're getting into.
Lucas like wanders over, picks up the sandwich, and is like, "Ghost sandwich."
Eat it.
Sandwich.
Eat it.
Lucas, make me a focus check.
Yeah, sure. Oh no, I'm actually not on one die. Fucking boom.
You may as well
Well,
be,
you
though.
Yeah, you don't feel any like supernatural compulsion to eat it or anything, but to you it just feels like a real sandwich, like 100% through and through. When you pick it up, it even has a nice smell to it.
Miles, can you, with your knowledge of this kind of lifestyle and everything, can you tell about how old this mansion is by any chance?
Well, we have
Based on your experience being rich, Do you know about how things age?
Out of character, I have established, and Rev has not refuted, that this looks like my grandparents' place.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
Okay, I
Uh,
know it sounds stupid, but hear me out. Like, if we're guests, then I want to try and figure out what time period this was built in so we can thank them within the context of that time period.
probably like a century or two old, I would imagine. Like, this is old money shit, right?
Yeah, let me see. I'm just gonna do some math here.
I just want to be respectful towards our hosts. They're clearly making an effort, and
It
we
looks
haven't gotten, like, shanked yet.
Yeah, 2 centuries is probably too old, but it looks like it's been around for about a century, maybe a little bit shorter than that.
Mm.
Okay, I don't know Pokemon lore super well, but Esme, when she is done, will stand and curtsy and thanks.
Sure, you can do that. And which direction do you do that in?
Towards the kitchen.
Okay. And strangely enough, when you stand and look towards the kitchen, you see that same butler standing there at the doorway. And when you give him a little curtsy, he gives you another little bow, and he has a faint smile on his face before he turns and slides back into the kitchen.
Thank you.
See, there's a method to my dumbness sometimes. Sometimes. Cool. We should probably check and see if maybe we can get outside now, or if we need to check other areas of the house. Yes? Does that sound about
Yes,
right?
that sounds good.
I saw another passageway that could lead outside on the right-hand side of the house, so let's go there.
Aren't you gonna eat your ghost sandwich?
I am not going to eat the ghost sandwich.
But the ghost butler prepared it special.
We did.
That's nice.
Sorry about our friend. He's a picky eater.
He ate,
Thank
You hear
you.
no,
he ate before
you
we
hear
came.
no response.
So, sorry, Ghost Randolph.
Grandolph.
Randolph. I guess we
Okay.
should follow Chance then.
Okay. So,
Don't leave me behind. It's scary here.
if you go towards that direction, you can peek into that room,
Yeah. Dad's busy.
and it doesn't seem like it leads outside. It's actually what looks like a small library.
Ooh.
And it's fairly neat. There is some dust in here, but there are like a couple of things, not so much scattered, but seems like they were just left out in the open, rather. Um, that may be feel a little bit out of place, but the rest of the room seems immaculate, minus the dust.
May we go in?
The door is open, so you are physically capable of going in, it seems.
Yeah. Chance is going to go in and start working his way towards the back of the room.
Okay.
What time is
Um,
it? In
It
game?
seems, yeah. So the clock is, well, it's an analog clock and there's no second hand, so it's hard to tell if it's moving or not. But it seems to be, it seems to say something like 4:30.
Who left
I
the
don't-
Christmas brochure on the table?
Yeah, so that's actually not a Christmas. Okay, so I'll answer Chance's thing first.
Yeah.
There isn't. It doesn't seem like there's a way out. There are some windows that show like the outside of the house, but there's no door leading outside. In this room, that Christmas brochure is actually a drawing on the table, like a child's drawing, basically. Although it is pretty good, for a child.
Mm.
And it seems like it shows the picture of a young girl surrounded by her parents, a person who looks like a butler who you may have already seen today,
Butlerman.
and a wide variety of what seem to be uncommon Pokemon. They're drawn a little bit small, so the fidelity is not the greatest, but you recognize a couple of them.
Uncommon Pokemon.
Yes. One might almost say rare Pokemon.
Sure. Yeah. I just wanted to make sure I hadn't misheard what you said.
Right.
She collected babbies just like me.
Mhm.
Esme feels a strong kinship.
Seems possible.
Is that the twist, that it was Esme, and Esme's been a ghost this whole time?
I mean, I do scuttle.
Oh my god. What's her name? Sadako. From
Sadako, yeah.
yeah.
Janice is gonna start looking on the back wall here. No, when I say back wall, I mean this one right here, to see if there's any
Yep.
sort of secret doors or anything. Or maybe behind the bookshelf, like if the bookshelf slides out of the way or something.
Yeah, make me a perception check.
Hi, Lucas. There are books. Your favorite
Somebody else
things.
can help me once I fail with my low perception.
So it seems like, as far as you can tell, it's not, there's no secret passage there. That being said, that stretch of wall is, fairly blank, so if you have suspicions, it seems possible at least.
Well, he's gonna start like looking through the room, like in this what looks like maybe a waste paper bin, and the bookshelves to see if there's anything, unusual.
Yep, so the waste paper bin seems empty for now. You're able to move it, and it doesn't seem like there's anything hidden in or under it. The bookshelves, like I said, the books are placed fairly neatly on it. You do notice a section of bookshelf that seems to be a little bit discolored.
The big book.
And on that chair, there's what looks like a fairy tale, like a large, well, not huge, but like decently sized hardcover picture book, basically. And it says Volume 5 on it.
Oh. Maybe we need to find 1 through 4 on the shelves.
Okay.
Should we all throw perception at it?
No, I think if you're looking through the shelves, that should be fairly straightforward. So from the books that you can see, you see some from the same author on the right bookshelf, but you don't see this particular series there. That being said, the chair is in the way for some of them.
Can we move the chair?
Yeah, for sure. You can move the chair. So you move the chair a little bit, and there does seem to be a slot there that's missing exactly 1 book.
Well, we know what needs to go in there.
The
Return
sandwiches
book.
you didn't eat.
A
Yes,
book.
stuff the sandwiches in there.
Return the book to the shelf.
Okay, so you can do that. And there's an almost silent sliding sound. And if you look,
Ooh, secrets.
Ooh.
to
Wait,
your
we
left
should probably
part
let
of the
Solo
wall.
sniff at it first.
Oh, what the fuck?
Let me step away for a moment. My kids start driving.
Sure.
Solo.
What is going on?
Oh, Lucas, don't. It's dangerous. Secret passages are dangerous.
It doesn't seem to be like a tiny passage or anything. It's actually a fairly substantial part of the wall that moved.
Hmm.
And the passage in here, I mean, it looks like it could have just been another part of the room if that secret wall hadn't been there. It looks like it's the same style and everything.
Hey, I guess we hopefully don't get Cask of Amontillado in here.
Well, someone
Luke's
should
just gonna walk in.
someone should stay outside to be able to reopen the door, right?
Yes.
Which, given that Chance is not currently here, will be Chance.
Sure.
What's
the
in
door-
here?
So, there's a couple of things in here. One is a window, which there wasn't at the top, like the north end of the room before, because there was a wall there.
All your unknown aren't gonna fit in here.
I'll squeeze.
No.
I think I can do that somehow.
Oh,
You're
no.
you're inundated with unknown.
Uh,
You're trying to find some secrets here. There's also another cushion on the ground. It's surprisingly not that dusty. Maybe because the wall has kept a lot of it out, and this part of the room actually seems quite clean. And there's what looks like a landline phone on the wall here. There's
Is that what
no,
this is?
yeah, I think I'm not gonna ask for a tech ed check because this is pretty basic, but there's no like phone line coming out of it, but it is plugged into a wall socket, it seems. It looks pretty old, which makes sense, but it does have like a small display.
is it getting power at all?
It does not seem like it is.
Hmm.
Yeah, that little thing. It seems to be another drawing, a little bit smaller than the previous one. This one seems to be upside down, and there's some writing on the back. It's basically made of the same kind of paper, which is like almost like a cardstock.
Yeah, somebody's gonna take a look at it.
And in fairly neat penmanship, it says it's titled "My Mysterious Friends and I," and underneath it's signed Anna.
Ooh. What's the drawing look like?
Sure. So if you flip it over, you see another drawing of the same young girl. What looks like a rotom hovering over her shoulder. And there's another figure to her right. But right when you look at it, it seems to rapidly get scribbled over with something like a thick blackness, like someone had took a Sharpie to it almost. And it's immediately obscured. You barely caught a glimpse of it, and you can only tell that it was also black before. But now there's just a scribble over the right side of the drawing.
That was very rude of you. That wasn't your drawing, I don't think. Can I Poke-Ed check to see what we're dealing with potentially?
Sure. So, let's see. The modus operandi seems a little bit odd because most ghost Pokemon wouldn't really care about this. Or at least as far as you know, you can't really tell what the motive would be to covering up that part of the drawing. I would say that this is probably not actually really a Pokemon question. Maybe a cult, but there are not that many clues available right now.
Okay, I guess we'll... what do you guys think? Should we take the picture with us? Or, like, leave it here for right now? Maybe set it on the table with the other one, or...
Or would you like me to look at it occultedly?
Yes.
I look at it occultedly.
Okay. Whatever that black scribble is, you get a kind of an odd feeling from it. I described it as like someone took a Sharpie to it, but it doesn't seem to literally be Sharpie or anything like that. It's almost like it's just blocking your perception of it, and it hasn't physically changed.
Sure, and it's just covering up someone or something that was next to the girl in the drawing.
Yes. And the drawing of the girl, she seems to be pretty happy, and the rotom seems to be drawn with a cheerful expression as well. And it is quite colorful otherwise.
Hmm.
Well, I mean, are we gonna do anything with this? I don't think we should take it, to be honest.
No, I think this belongs in here.
I'm gonna just leave it.
Are we gonna look under the cushion here?
Yes.
It's a very soft cushion. There's nothing underneath.
Hmm. Okay. Not even any like hints of wiring or anything that would have ran to the phone at some point.
Nope. The phone seems, like I said, it just has a power cable coming from it and it's plugged into the wall. The phone itself is kind of hanging on the wall, but there is no phone line attached to it.
If I
Hmm.
pick up the phone and listen, do I hear a dial tone or anything? If I pick up the receiver?
No. It does not seem to be operational. You don't hear anything there.
Sure. Just wanted to check.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. What do I see if I look out the window?
You see the back garden, basically.
Sure. I do
Um,
actually see through the window. It's not like
Yes.
mysteriously blank or anything.
Yes. This one, the view is a little bit obscured because it is a little further, like it's obscured by the house, the structure on the left. But you can see like the path to the back, and it lets in some light, basically.
So we can't make out the monument.
Probably not from here.
Okay.
Sure. Well, if there's nothing else going on in that room, I'm gonna wander out.
Has
When
time
I-
changed at all?
Doesn't seem like it. You've been here in this room for maybe a couple of minutes, but the hand hasn't moved at all.
Hmm.
Which,
When I
you know, is... Yeah, go on.
When I saw that out thing earlier to the right, was it as close as we are now? Like, should there be wall beyond what I see here?
It seems like... So there was a path, basically, on the right.
Oh,
seems
it
to
was
be
a path
exterior
around the side of the house. Okay,
Yes.
gotcha.
Not from inside the house.
Okay, I misunderstood. I thought there was another
right.
door leading out of the house.
Right.
And I didn't see anything on the left side whenever I...
No.
Yeah, so I'm going to suggest that we actually go outside and take the path around the side of the house.
Okay.
Well,
Uh,
Chance is a good leader.
Yep. Does everyone agree there?
Yeah.
Sure.
Chance, is your
Okay.
camera getting, like, ghosty, staticky interference?
The last I heard, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, is that I'm still streaming just fine as far as the chat and everything like that goes. The only thing that's weird is that my time is not changing.
So you're
Yes.
you're still in this place, not getting Slenderman cameraed.
Yes, that is
Okay.
correct. And that is still approximately what's happening right now. Funny, you could have sworn you left the door open a little bit.
Well, it's breezy in here, so
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Well, I mean, Luke is gonna walk up to the door and try and open it.
Make me an athletics check.
we're dead.
Whoops.
Esme can try if Lucas doesn't do well. She's right there.
Yep, and you can try as well. You both pull on the doors. I don't know if you pull in succession or do you pull like together almost.
Probably
Or
in
on different
succession and then together, I imagine.
Yeah.
Yep.
You open doors like a boy. Eh.
You do it, you little punk.
It says something about the construction of these doors, but it still seems pretty solid after all these years. But it doesn't budge.
I guess Esme's gonna turn to the others and say, I don't think they're ready for us to leave just yet. I don't think they want us to end our visit, so perhaps we should explore elsewhere.
Oh, wait, just to be sure, Rev, were you being very careful about your verbiage? Are we opening the door the correct way?
Yes. Yes, you
Okay,
are.
good. I know what you're like sometimes. I thought I should check.
Yes, that's probably reasonable to check, but no, I assumed you had not forgotten which way it opens.
Okay, good.
We weren't gonna
Should
leave.
Which is inward, by the way.
Yeah.
We weren't gonna leave. We were gonna go around to the back garden.
Yeah, you see, I'm getting the impression they don't want us to do that for whatever reason.
Maybe we have to prove ourselves first. Maybe she wants us to know her story before we,
I mean,
potentially say goodbye to her.
that door that we saw in the the dining room, if it functions like magnets, then approaching it slowly might not be the best idea. Approaching it quickly.
If you
Well,
want to go
Right.
back, if you want to go back and test that theory, you're welcome to.
Esme's gonna say we should explore elsewhere. I don't know if we're
Yeah.
putting that to a vote or.
No, I think we should just look around.
Yeah, let's let's not commit violence against the ghosts until we absolutely, definitely, 100% have to.
I was just going to try to quickly open the door.
You can
I
do
mean, we
that.
can wait for you if you want. We'll be close by if it like slams you into the wall or something and you break your back.
No. Let's stay together and.
It's okay, friend Chance. I will carry you if you become crippled.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, come, Miles.
Oh.
Let us explore.
Oh no, I
Well,
entered
what's
Esme.
on the left-hand side? Whoa.
It seems to
More
be
books.
another
Books.
library, but this one is a little bit bigger than the other one, or at least there's more shelves, and it seems to be noticeably more messy. And there are a bunch of cardboard boxes also full of what seem to be medical books at the south end of the room.
What about
Do-
this big boy here?
Do the medical books have a common theme?
Let's see, what would be a common thing here?
Like, how to cope with cancer?
Nothing so specific as that. They do seem to be specific, like documentation on various maladies, but they're not as focused as that.
Sure.
Make me a medicine ed check.
Oh, I hate you. I knew it was going to be med ed. 6.
Okay. So, I mean, you're not a doctor or anything,
No.
but there doesn't seem to be a clear theme here. So you imagine that, and from the fact that they're all in cardboard boxes, it seems like they were ordered like relatively recently, at least as far as when this was last being used. It doesn't seem like they knew exactly what they were looking for.
Do the boxes have a shipping label?
Yes, I would say some of them do.
Do they have a legible address?
I would say probably. Let me see what would actually be reasonable.
Sounds like she got sick with something they couldn't figure out in time. Poor Anna.
Let's see, what would be a reasonable town for this? I have no idea because they never get into this, but I guess let's say there's some shipped in from Hardhome.
Mm-hmm.
And some shipped in from Canalave. I know they have a library. So.
But the destination address?
So let's see. Have you ever seen any addresses where like it's like a cottage out in the wilderness?
Yeah, there's a lot of them over here.
That it's kind of like that. So you don't really recognize the address, but it does seem to be here. Just it says it says forest on it.
It would make sense for the destination address to be the current address where we are.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yes.
What's this big book up here?
So that's book. Yep. So that's actually a pile of books, and they seem to be sort of the same theme as the ones in the boxes. This room seems to mostly be like, I guess it's like a collection of. Yeah, I think I wrote something here. Yeah, so there's medical books. There's like other pretty like fairly technical texts from various scientific disciplines. And it doesn't seem like all of them were like came in recently. There are like a lot of books here, and a lot of them are just like psychology, just like various studies in science, physics, a bunch of things like that. It's just mostly the bottom half of the room that's more medical focused.
If we flip through these books, do we perchance find any child drawings?
You do not. You
Hmm.
You can flip through a couple of them, but it doesn't seem like there's anything like between the pages or anything.
What about this cushion down here?
Okay. So that cushion actually looks like it's half folded, like someone threw it at the corner there. If you lift it, there is a small wastebasket underneath it, and there is a single crumpled up piece of paper there.
Okay, I guess I'm gonna uncrumple it and read it.
Sure. It seems to be a medical transcript. Basically a record of something that a doctor might have said, that's written down, or maybe they wrote it down themselves. The words are kind of faded, and the crumpling didn't help. Some of the parts where the folds are kind of have been obscured, basically. But you can make out some words. You see mysterious illness, tried various treatments, and ... little success. Will require further study.
You guys, I don't think Anna was okay in the end.
I mean, was that ever really? Did you ever really think she was okay?
I can hope, Lucas. I can dream.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
Sad Esme noises.
Oh dear.
Scuttle into this box for a while. You guys
Okay.
stick around.
Just gonna get in a box, curl up, and fold the lid in on you.
Yes.
It is a fairly large box.
I live in here now.
Mom, Lucas was being mean.
Listen, you keep that up and we're gonna end up with like 13 broken toilets on a farmhouse.
What? What?
You keep that up,
Oh
and
no.
you keep that up, and Mag's gonna ban you from his Twitch channel.
Oh no.
What?
Yeah, Lucas banned for hate speech. Oh no. Oh, Miles, is there anything outside the window or anything that you guys can see that Esme wouldn't?
Let's look out the window. I'm guessing it's much the same as the other on the other side.
Yes. Instead of a path being shown in this one, it's like a small boxed garden, seems like something like that. It is also overgrown, but evidently that was the view from here.
Can we open these windows on the end?
You can try.
I would like to try.
There do seem to be latches. You are prevented from touching them.
Oh, like magnet style.
Yes.
This is the first time Miles has encountered the magnet powers.
Yes.
Firsthand.
Actually, well, I think it's probably more reasonable for these just to you can touch them, but you can't operate them. I think that's probably more reasonable for these.
Right. Okay.
I imagine occult checking is probably gonna reveal nothing either.
Probably not. The magnet one is much more obvious. Something's going on, but it probably wouldn't reveal much. This one just feels like it's rusted. Like it just doesn't move basically.
Esme, you're strong. Maybe you can move the rusted latch.
Sure. Yes.
So you can
Why not?
try, and let's see. What kind of conditions has Esme lived in before?
Largely.
Exclusively run down haunted manors.
I mean, has she ever had like the experience of dealing with like rusted windows and stuff?
Yeah, I imagine Esme was like kind of urban explorer, wild
Right.
child.
So yeah, this one seems to be very stubborn. To be perfectly honest, you've broken a couple of like rusted latches before when you were trying to open them, and they opened in the end. This one is just not moving.
Maybe some WD-40 up in here.
I guess. Should we move on then?
Yeah. What was in the books, by the way?
Medical
Anything?
stuff.
No, he's asking in character because I didn't read them.
Ah.
But if I get a general description, then it's like, oh, so that's why you suddenly came to the conclusion that she weren't well.
Yes.
Fine.
I know there's a frown on
if
your
she's-
face, but you have a heart of gold somewhere in there, Lucas. Let us
Look,
proceed.
if she was sick, she's probably in her bedroom, which probably means she's upstairs. So maybe we should go find the bedrooms.
That seems like a reasonable assumption.
Oh god, he's so fast.
and then Lucas just
Running up
Naruto runs
there.
out of the room.
Yeah,
I would-
just
I would
definitely
kill
is
to
what
see
just
Lucas
happened.
Naruto running.
What is in the other downstairs room?
It's just another entry to the same place. It was the dining room again.
Okay.
Oh, so that follows the entire back span of underneath the stairway.
Yes.
Okay.
What do you guys think, left or right?
When in doubt, head left.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Let's
You're on
see.
upstairs.
Make me a perception check.
Honk.
Everybody?
Oh.
Yes. Everybody.
But... Okay. One of these days I'm gonna remember to level up my goddamn perception.
Well,
Hey.
we haven't
I
really
rolled
had an
twice.
opportunity for a while.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry, apparently I
so-
double clicked.
No worries. So Chance and Esme don't notice anything strange. But as Lucas and Miles walk up the stairs, they notice some movement from their right. There are a couple of portraits on the wall, and if they didn't know any better, they could have sworn that they
The
had been
eyes were following them.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if you look at them up, if you examine them closely, they're just looking forward, as if it was normal.
Sure.
Well,
I mean, if they're not actually doing anything bad, then yeah, Lucas will just carry on. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, way to not warn us of any danger.
I'm sure it's fine.
Could have been a trick of the light.
I mean, it's a common phenomenon that people think that, painted people's eyes are following them. It's like an optical illusion.
Pareidolia.
Yeah. Let me put you in at the right place. Should have just copied you from the previous map, but already too far gone here.
Spooky hallway.
Ooh.
We just come in through here then.
Yes.
Sure.
I guess door by door?
Yeah, I guess
The light.
knock on them before I open them.
Is
See
the
if I get
light
a response and then open them.
someone or other's room on the door, on like a plaque or a scribbling or something?
I would say that most of them don't. There is. Are you going to look at all the doors before you go in any of them?
Probably like go to here, and then I reckon I have an argument for seeing the first three, to just identify if there's like a plaque or a sign or something on them.
It doesn't seem like there is.
Okay.
They're all fairly similar looking.
Well, we could take the doors one at a time, or we could all just pick a door and go in and accept our fate.
Lucas has already knocked on this door.
Oh, okay.
Sure. You can knock on it. you hear the sound of your knocking, but there's no response.
Okay, well, I'll try and open it then.
Okay. You can do so. Let's see.
Ooh.
Actually, let me check on something.
Noteworthy paper on the desk.
It's cool.
Yep.
Should we knock on this door, Miles, or wait?
We should probably wait, so let's knock on it.
Okay. Says man. Miles will knock on this one.
Sure. So similarly, you don't hear a response.
Oh, whoops. Is it still very dark in here? Like, are there no lights on and stuff?
There's no lights on, but there's some bright moonlight coming from outside at the window, and it's surprisingly good at lighting everything up.
Sure.
Lucas,
So we're in like permanent twilight, essentially.
More or less.
he's
Those
still
kind
alive.
The door is open, like you can see him.
of like...
Hey, he's
So-
still alive.
Yeah,
Cool.
I'm fine.
Don't leave Miles alone out in the hallway. He's spooky. Don't want him to get possessed.
Wait, Miles is spooky, so don't leave him alone.
Yes, that's how we get possessed children.
Don't leave the ghosts alone with Miles.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll possess them.
Miles Miles and the unknown cloud will keep watch outside.
He'll take possession of them.
Yes. You go and investigate the room.
No, we've got our two
I mean,
Chads in there. We don't know. I'm protecting my
I-
little
I'm-
friend.
I'm gonna just look about and see if there's anything going on in here. Like, what's happening?
Sure. This looks like a smaller version of the libraries downstairs. It resembles a personal study. And there's like a big writing table in the corner. And there is what looks like a letter on the table.
Okay, so what's the letter? Is it addressed to anyone in particular, or?
Yes. It's addressed to dear brother.
Okay.
And this handwriting is not the same as the handwriting from before.
It's not
Downstairs.
as neat.
It's neater. This
Oh,
is
it's
this
neat?
is more clear. This is more clearly an adult's handwriting.
Sure.
And this adult had a deer for a brother.
Yeah. Dear brother. Oh my god, please.
Wow, that is awful.
Okay. But the letter essentially seems to talk about how things have been going here. It's a fairly like polite letter, and whoever is writing it asks, how the other person is doing, as as pleasantries basically. And at the end of the letter, talks about how his daughter seems to be feeling under the weather recently. He says,
Hey, how's it going? How's it going? It's all going okay here. Oh, BT Dub's kid's dead.
yeah, it doesn't seem
No,
like
I think this letter's from before she got particularly bad, right?
yeah, it doesn't seem to have that level of urgency to it. It's just that, she's young. He's fairly sure that she'll be fine, but he can't help it. But you know me, I've always been a
In a
doting sort
worry
of guy.
war.
Yeah, so I can't help but worry a bit. Could you, do you think you could send me some medical books? Just so I, if nothing else, to relieve my mind. On my side, I'm going to see if I can. I'll be calling our family doctor to make a house visit here.
Mm.
And then after that, it was just part of the letter. After that, it talks about some other things like plans they were gonna make together for the future, to visit, etc.
Sure. Okay. Well, if so, this is kind of like earlier on in the timeline. It seems than the stuff downstairs with the like mysterious illness, etc., etc.
Right.
Is this a portrait again?
It is.
Okay. If I move around, do the eyes seem to follow me still?
It does not. Seems
Okay.
just like a normal portrait.
Sure. And then I guess I'll take it. Is this more medical books in the bookshelf?
This is more like there are some scientific books here still. I think whoever used the study seemed to enjoy reading them. There's also like basically a wide variety of literature types. This seems to be just things they enjoyed reading.
Sure. And then are these like books that seem to have been taken out specifically, or are these something else?
Um, do, 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 do. You know, that's a good question. He would probably be more organized than that. You know, I'll say that those books aren't actually on the ground. They're just there's like one or two books that are out and on the table probably.
Sure. Okay. Well, uh, sure. So just a little bit more like context of what's going on. Yeah. I mean, if there's nothing else going on in here, then Lucas will sort of just give it one more glance and then, check with Solo if she can see anything weird that he can't, and if she can't, then yeah, just leave. There's nothing,
Yep.
nothing more for him to do. So
Mm.
he's
Yeah.
gonna wander out and be like, well,
Okay, the next one?
yeah. I mean, I don't know who the person writing the letter was, but there's a letter talking about how his daughter's ill, which we already knew about. So
Knock, knock.
I didn't get possessed.
Yay.
There's
Small
no
bonus.
response. There's no response when you knock on the door.
Chance just wanted to look out the window to see if.
Oh sure. Yeah, so this is you basically have a second floor view of the back, and you can see from there that there is something like a monument there. Obviously you can't see the words that are written on it because it's too far away, but it does seem like it's a small grave there, back.
Gotcha. Okay.
Guess we try and enter the new room.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can move the door handle very slightly, but it seems to be locked.
Hmm.
sure.
Can I try and
I
kick
mean,
it open?
Oh, well,
Can the
okay.
unknown try and manipulate the latch to open it before Esme tries to kick it open?
You can attempt to.
I will do that, which is a focus roll, I believe.
Okay.
On behalf of an unknown.
You watch the latch. You watch the door handle attentively, but you don't hear any sounds or anything beyond the door handle jiggling a little bit, like someone was trying to just open it. And the sense that you get from your unknown is that there's some sort of psychic wall there.
They know about psychic walls because they can make them.
Yes.
Okay. Breaking it down would probably just leave the psychic wall because it's psychic.
Do
Maybe.
the unknown have phasing?
No.
It's only ghosts.
Only
Sure.
ghosts. They have invisibility and telekinesis and they can make more unknowns show up. But they cannot phase.
I guess we
Sure.
move on then.
Yeah, I mean,
Don't-
if we can't open it, then we'll move to the next door.
Yeah, I don't want to disrespect the dead by kicking down doors unsuccessfully.
Okay. So if you knock on this one, similarly, there's no response. But this one does open.
Nifty. I guess we should go inside then.
Nifty.
Oh, it's like a medical treatment room?
Yeah. So this one, it doesn't look like a child's bedroom. There are two beds here, so it seems reasonable to assume that this is the master bedroom. There is, let's see. Yes, your guess is correct. It does look like a medical, a machine that's somehow related to medical purposes. And oddly enough, when you enter this room, you actually see that let's see. So, there's not much clear moonlight coming into this room, unlike before. But for some reason, you can still see around pretty clearly. It feels like it should be dark, but somehow it isn't. And there are actually the machine actually seems to be functioning.
Hmm.
Ooh. Does anyone know anything about technology?
No.
Chance.
Chance does not know anything about technology now.
Do we once again have a massive gap of no
So-
one is a tech nerd?
I'm a farm boy.
I'm a ghost boy and literally a boy.
Yeah, so I would say that this actually looks fairly like it does seem to be a piece of medical technology, but it's also pretty clearly labeled. They worked pretty hard on the UI and somehow it seems consumer grade, even though it looks like pretty
High tech.
yeah, like it seems like something that not everyone would have, obviously.
Hmm. Is it giving
yeah,
out any readings?
It is. Um, it seems to be showing displaying some basically vital signs. And if you navigate around some of the menus, you can see historical records of various indicators. And the general trend seems to be that the vital signs are slowly dropping over time.
Hmm.
And the other notable thing is that there's a section for basically brain activity, and there are spikes that have become more regular recently. And
Her friends were keeping her company while she was comatose.
no, so actually, what it seems like is those actually indicate pain.
Oh, that's way worse, and I hate it.
And the other thing is that recently it seems like whoever the subject is, they've been having trouble sleeping.
Probably because of a pain.
Is this actually a book here?
Yes.
I'm gonna take a look because we've been following a trail of books this whole time.
So
In the book.
so it seems to be basically a written record of this. It seems that this belonged to Anna's father. And despite having this machine here, it seems to have been a recent addition. And he's more old school, so he's basically been keeping his own records as well.
Right.
And it says mostly what you could find from the machine's readouts. But you also get a sense that he's become increasingly more worried as time goes on for seemingly good reason.
Sure.
And near the end, he's like, he's anything but calm, even though he's just taking down records.
Jeez. Poor guy.
Yeah, and there's some rambling in there about, or basically, unfocused brainstorming about possible solutions, and there's all the normal stuff, but there's also a brief mention of considering some occulty stuff.
Ooh.
Like when people reach out to psychics to try and find their missing
Right.
loved ones or whatever. Yeah.
Is it specific about the occulty stuff?
No, just that he was planning to look into it, and beyond there isn't anything written.
Can I leverage my psychic class and general spoopiness into trying to get a vibe of the room to see if this is like a central point of the haunting, as it were.
Yep, make me an occult ed check.
Given how often I roll this, you'd think I'd know what the number is by now.
So, strangely enough, it doesn't seem to be a central part. You can sense that there is something going on here, maybe more than the eye can see, but it doesn't seem to be where most of the spookiness is focused, so to speak.
Oh, I know. We've got to get out the other musketeer here. If we see if Cobalt can see anything weird going on. We've got the other
Sure.
weirdness detector.
So I'm gonna
Hey.
say that, yeah. So just following up on what Miles said, I think Miles and Cobalt both get the general sense that the room next door to the east is where a lot of the energy, like the unstable energy, is focused.
Oh, the one that we couldn't open.
No. The one to the
No.
east.
The other one. Oh, interesting.
Next one over, so we should probably go and have a look in there.
Well, I mean,
Yeah. And then the rest of the things in the room, Esme was looking at that drawer, presumably. That seems to be Anna's mother's drawer. You might be able to imagine what's in there. It's a good thing that you're the one who opened it.
Oh.
And on the right side, that shelf there on the southeast of the room seems to be some medicines.
Oh,
Anything that we could take with us.
do the medicines have an expiry date on them?
I would say yes, probably.
What is the date?
So, let me do some quick math.
Because medicines in the real world, they generally don't. They aren't shelf stable for longer than a couple of years. Most of them.
Right. So, I would say that the current year, let's say, is just for ease of reference, it's our current year. And then this one would be from. Let's see. That. I'm just trying to use some reference points. I would say this.
Hello.
Yep. No, I'm thinking of something.
Oh, sorry. I worried that I just DC because everyone was silent.
Yeah. Trying to get my generation straight. That's why. Okay. This looks like it's expiring maybe like 50-ish years ago, like 55 years ago.
Bit too late for cocaine, but just on time for opium.
Miles. Who gave the 13-year-old drugs?
Well, grandmother and grandfather have an extensive medical cabinet. They're old.
Oh.
Yeah.
Bitch, I'm rich.
No,
I've been doing this since I was
that's just
4.
what they called it. They called it the medical cabinet.
Yeah, it was it was actually full of all manner of coke and opium.
Oh, wow. And that's how Miles developed his weird, spooky powers.
For when they wanted to get up in the morning and when they wanted to get down at bed.
Well, it doesn't seem like we can do anything to get into the door to the east just yet. Should we keep looking around, or...?
No. The door to the one we couldn't open is to the west.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, we should try this door over here next.
Okay.
If we're done in this room.
We'll go a wandering.
Okay. Hanging on this door actually is a.
Corpse.
Do not disturb sign.
So this is the only one so far that seems to have a placard on it, and it says in tasteful, fancy, but also like a youthful energy. Says Anna's room on it.
Oh, we should definitely
Okay.
be very polite about entering then.
Knock on the door.
Hey, oh,
So
bitch.
as you move to give the door a knock, before you knock it, there is a heavy thudding from that door, about shin level. It hits the door. It hits the door twice, making like a quite a heavy sound.
Wait,
then
the
falls
door that
down.
I'm trying to knock on. Sorry.
Yes, before you like right before you knock on it.
Hmm.
Can we take out the flowers meant for Anna and kind of present them and be like, we're not here to do anything bad. We just want to respect Anna and keep a promise.
You don't get a response to that.
Hmm.
May
Can
we,
Solo sense
may,
anything bad is gonna happen if we open it?
Solar dust natural disasters. You're better off asking Cobalt.
Yeah, so I would say that Miles gets a bad feeling from beyond the door, and Cobalt's fur is standing up a little bit. And he seems wary.
may we enter?
You get no response to that.
Hmm.
It's spooky, guys. Miles's hair is like,
yeah.
normally it's a little bit up. Miles's hair is like up.
Sonic the
Super Saiyan?
Hedgehog.
Yeah. It's Super Saiyan, but with negative spooky energy.
So it's purple.
Hmm. It doesn't-
Oh,
Oh. The chance to
Chance
go.
is just fucking gone.
Oh no.
What?
Chance is in.
know. If you try to open the door, it does not open.
Oh,
I mean,
Yeah,
he just faced through the fucking wall.
I was talking, but I was muted.
Oh.
Yeah, no.
Oh.
Chance was gonna open the door and go inside.
Right. So, as with the second room, the door handle jiggles a bit, but it doesn't open. It seems to be locked.
We can play.
There is no response to that.
We can draw together.
Chance should be fun too.
Unfortunately, there is no response.
It's like, okay, well, clearly we're not meant to be in here. So he's just going to walk along. You're like, nope, and just go and open the next door.
Okay. And this one, you don't get any bad feelings from, and it opens pretty easily.
Sorry, Anna, if that's you who we're offending.
So this one seems to be a music room. Aside from the piano, there are a couple of instruments being stored on like a shelf at the far end of the room. And there's some music stands and a piano here. There's also a wastebasket with this. Oh God. There's also a wastebasket with several neatly folded, but like still somewhat crumpled papers in the garbage.
Are they like music sheets?
They do seem to be music sheets, or at least half-finished ones. It seems like they've been written in pen.
Right.
And
Like belt tip?
what's that?
Belt tip?
Yeah, I guess so. That would probably be easier than a ball tip. And basically, they seem to be. Someone seems to have been trying to write a song, basically.
Can Miles go to the piano and really badly play only the melody part of Moonlight Sonata? Because
Yes.
I imagine that there's a piano at home and he vaguely knows how to play it a bit, but not very well.
Right.
And it's
Oh.
appropriately somber.
Yep. So you can do that. And the acoustics of the room seem to be pretty good. If Chance is still standing outside, he can actually hear some of the sound.
Can't or can?
Can.
I mean, Esme could try and play some of the music off the sheets. She vaguely knows how to play a couple musical instruments. They're usually pretty shitty and useless, but she does know a little bit of piano.
Miles was about to say, does anyone read sheet music?
Man, I
Miles-
imagine Miles can.
Miles-
Probably can.
Miles can probably figure it
Miles can
out
whip
if you give him a couple of minutes.
Esme can
Give it a
try,
go.
but she'll defer to Miles first.
How do I roll a rich skill check?
Roll me a general ed with a bonus. 'Cause
Okay.
it's relative
Roll me
to-
a privilege.
Is is the bonus variable or flat?
Are we literally
Let's
saying
say-
check your privilege?
Yes.
Let's say you roll one more die than you usually have.
Okay. It's not a very good die roll. As I say, he's not a very good pianist. But
Oh dear.
Okay. I mean, you probably don't understand some of the more complex symbols, but you know how, like, the easy parts, like, you know how to read a melody, basically.
yeah. I think it goes something like this. Tinker, tinker, tinker.
And the piano sound seems to be surprisingly in tune.
Yeah, you'd think after 5 decades it would have warped a little.
Yeah. Which does seem strange because I imagine you have memories of your grandparents calling over someone to tune the instruments before.
Mm.
And while they were here, your grandfather probably explained to you why that needs to be done. So either this is a magical piano or something else is probably happening here.
Spooky
I
ghost
wonder if
piano.
somebody's playing with you. Maybe Anna wants to play.
Yeah, so let's see. The handwriting on this sheet music is again different from Anna's, and is also different from the diary that you found in the master bedroom.
Mother.
So that seems like the next best guess.
Do we know
Is
her
there-
name?
We don't know anyone's name apart from Hannah's, I don't think.
Hmm.
So let's say they in true let's see. In true
Idea.
Rev fashion, they refer to each other as mother and father.
Oh,
So
gross.
you don't have to think of a name.
Yes. Correct.
Well,
Chance, does anyone in your
Lucas-
chat
Lucas
know
is,
how to read sheet music?
Lucas is unimpressed with us being bad at sheet music and
I didn't
one's out of
even
the room again.
try. I didn't even try. You impatient butthole. Chance didn't even try, and I didn't even try.
Chance actually knows sheet music quite well.
There you go, you dingus.
Why is Chance a
Old man.
musician? What does Chance play?
Chance is a musician.
What does Chance
Uh,
play?
Let's say he knows how to play the guitar really well, but he also plays on piano quite well as well.
Oh, that's
Okay.
convenient.
I'm gonna say his main instrument is guitar, though.
Sure.
Chance,
Um,
Chance, can you help?
Sure. What are we doing?
We're trying to play the song that Anna's mother wrote. I guess her name is Mother, so Mother.
Okay. So then, well, there was multiple pieces of crumpled up paper, right? It wasn't
Yes.
just
Yeah.
one.
And none of them seem complete.
Okay, so that are they all the same song? Like, are they derivations of the same song?
It seems like it, yes.
Means
Okay.
maybe you can finish the songs.
And
Yeah,
there is a copy on like the piano stand itself, but it is also not finished.
okay. So then I'm gonna take a look at all of them,
Okay.
try to understand the gist of the song that the author was trying to create, and
Okay.
then see if I can improv an ending to it.
Sure. So now it's chance to roll a privilege check. Kidding.
He
Let's
just it's somber and heartfelt, and then you just go into freeform jazz at the end.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
this is not
Trap
a
remix.
aspect, so make me a intuition. Actually, yeah, I guess make
charm
me an
check?
intuition. Yeah, you can make it a charm.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was gonna say that's like the stereotypical musician skill, which is why I had Chance be good at music.
For sure. Okay. So obviously it's not perfect because the composer herself didn't finish the song, but you give a pretty good rendition of something that sounds reasonable. Um, and let's see. So Lucas has already left the room. Miles, make me a intuition check.
Ooh, I'm good at that one. I'm mediocre at that one.
Okay. So, there was a general feeling of foreboding coming from the room behind you. So the fourth door, basically, Anna's bedroom. Um, and it's kind of hard to tell, but it's not just one presence in there. Um, there's one that seems to be mm, quite unstable and unhappy, and another one that's a lot more subtle, and not nearly as vengeful, so to speak. That second one uh, seems to react positively to this, to Chance's rendition, but the first one doesn't react at all.
Hmm.
So maybe mother and father?
No,
Maybe
the one that likes it is Anna, because it reminds her of her mother, and the one that doesn't like it, I suspect, is whatever was ailing Anna in the first place that caused the pain and everything like that. So
Or maybe another like aspect of Anna that's self-actualized,
yeah, that's true.
like
That could be
Anna's grief and rage at being unable to do anything.
well, should we carry on?
I don't know
Check
if there's
the
anything to carry on to. I mean, if we're about to loop back around, aren't we?
There's the other side of the mansion.
This might be like that. This bit we're at now with the carpet, with the rug, might loop round to the other set of stairs,
Oh, I see what you mean.
like
Yeah.
how Under the Stairs did.
That being
Right.
said, we surely we're missing stuff because if this is like a 5-story mansion and we've only explored the first 2 stories and we're in a closed loop, then we're
I mean-
probably missing stuff.
Did we ever actually go into the bottom left room, or was all the dining room?
That was all the
that was
dining
all the
room.
dining room.
That was all the dining
There
room.
was dining room at the back under the stairs, library with secret hidden room, and library with medical books.
Right. So if Miles leaves the room and everyone vacates
Yes.
that music,
Sorry, yes.
then you hear a loud click coming down from further the hall.
Oh.
Maybe back here?
The locked door.
Possibly.
Yeah. Lucas will head over that way, I guess. Not
Yeah.
that, all the way over here, right? This one.
Yep.
Oops.
Hello. Oh, hello.
Lol.
Oh no. Not in the hallway, not in front of Miles!
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Chance is just scuttling along the wall, apparently.
Wall running.
Oh my god, we are Naruto.
Yes.
So, if you try the handle, this door is apparently unlocked now.
Okay.
Oh, may we come in?
You hear no response, but the handle turns. So
Cool. I guess we go in, or Esme does at least.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It's a rec room.
Inside
big TV.
it looks like a rec room indeed. There's basically a big television sitting on top of a like a TV shelf, which has closed cupboards,
Media
and the
center.
TV is on.
Oh, is it the
And
ring?
not quite as
Oh,
not quite as
Rotom
spooky as
face.
that. No, not that either. So it's fairly staticky, but it seems to be a. You know how security cameras are usually put in like the corner of a room?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like that sort of view. And it's showing a room that is now familiar or that is not familiar to you. It has a single bed in it, a shelf, and another one of those. There's a machine that looks like that medical machine in the master bedroom. And there's a small desk that's just barely visible at like the bottom edge of the feed.
Ah, fuck.
And it seems to be nighttime because it's quite dark. Although, as I said, it is staticky, so it's hard to tell specifics. But there's a small figure in bed that's tossing and turning. And above and approaching or above the bed, there is a dark shadow that's hovering. And it's indistinct, so you can't tell what it is. But after a few seconds of watching, it moves closer to her. And after a moment, she stills.
Ruh-roh.
And the feed goes back into pure static.
Oh dear. If it's indistinct, I can't imagine a Pokédex check would tell me what it is.
Probably not. This is more of a technical difficulties than a difficult to identify because
It's a
the mystery.
Slenderman camera fuck up.
Yes.
Let's see. Should we investigate the TV, maybe?
Is this
Yeah,
another portrait?
That is another portrait.
Is it does it look like it's the kid? Is it the dad maybe? The mum?
I would say that the portraits you've seen in the various rooms differ. There are actually a bunch of them that are just of like a family member with some Pokemon or like family pictures, etc. This one. Okay, so this one I would say probably has Anne in the picture, and she's smiling, and kind of, you know how like amateur photographers have like often capture blurry photos because they moved or something.
Sure.
Most of the photo is clear, but there's like almost a blur off to the side that is vaguely orange.
Sure.
If you want to make a Pokédex check, probably.
Vaguely orange blur
Yes.
in a house that we know
probably...
we know contained a Rotom.
Yes, probably also yes. So that because of that, it's fairly easy. It's probably a Rotom.
Yeah.
Interesting. Do we think maybe the Rotom would be hanging around some of the technology in the house, like the TV, for example, or the phone, or
the camera in the room, and it's sad that its fucking child has died, and is the angry malevolent thing.
maybe. None of us have any technical education because, thanks, Rev.
Hey, that was our
that's
choice.
our fault.
That's our fault.
Yeah, but he clearly was like, I wonder if they'll need some technical education.
I mean, for the most part, probably not.
Let's see. Yeah, I guess there's not really. Can we check the wastebasket? Check the cushions, or
Nope, seems to have been cleared out pretty recently, and the waist and the cushions seem like they're not hiding any secrets underneath or inside even.
Check the Mario pipe.
Yes, go
Mario
into the Mario
pipe.
pipe. If you go in here, you come out of Nana's room.
that
Well,
would
I mean-
be rad and deadly.
Radley.
There doesn't really seem to be anything much in here, barring the sort of like piece of information we've been given. So, I mean, if after looking around, Lucas will sort of head out again.
Mm.
There's
Is there
nowhere.
anything,
There's
like,
only one
under the
place left
TV?
to go.
Can you open those shelves under the TV? Is there anything under there?
Yes, actually. Some really old game consoles.
From the 50s. Well, the 70s, I guess it would be.
Yeah, and also something that you have heard about, but haven't really seen in your lifetime. Miles might have. It looks like, actually, I don't know if you would right.
An Atari 2600.
No, it's a VCR.
It's a VCR? Yeah, no, there's definitely a VCR.
I think Miles would recognize because his grandparents probably have.
Yeah, his grandparents probably still have a massive CRT. Let's be honest.
Is there
Well, that's
any
basically,
tape in there?
what this is. That's what this is. Yeah, there are cassettes in here as well.
Can we
Oh.
go through them?
I mean, if
so,
someone actually finds something, they're back in.
so it's weird because the TV seems to be working, quote unquote. It's only static right now, but the VCR does not seem to be operational.
Is it plugged in?
As far as you can tell, yes.
Did someone put a cheese sandwich in the cassette slot? Because Miles did that once and it didn't go well.
If you open it up, you are not ambushed by gooey goodness or
Sadness.
bad, as the case may be.
There's not really. Is there any labels on the videotape?
Yeah, it's just like various. So there are some movies there. There's a section that's like by itself that seems to be just like home videos kind of thing.
Not that I wish to ruin the mood, but I feel I need to tell you that the best-selling arcade game of 1972 was Computer Space, manufactured by Nutting Associates.
Yes, I actually knew this one.
Wow. I mean, we could revisit the door, I guess, but unless somebody has any ideas on figuring out these tapes, we could go ask Randolph, I guess.
I mean, if the VCR doesn't work,
So does the VCR just not turn on?
Yeah, the display does not light up.
maybe we try putting one in anyway, because the cassette delivery is purely mechanical, which probably is anyway, knowing VCR machines.
Yes, I mean we can try.
So we should be able to put a cassette in and get it out again without power.
I don't know. Can you get it out? I don't think that's actually possible.
No, you can.
It's just
Can
it's just a lever that pushes it up and out again.
Oh. Okay. I could have sworn the one I had before was like you can only take it out if it was on. Anyway,
you probably had a fancy model.
my God. But yeah, you can put it in. Doesn't seem to do anything to the screen. You take it out. Doesn't the cassette is intact.
Oh, does the machine in the medical room have a VCR bit?
The machine in the medical room.
The one with the records on. The one in the
It does
middle.
not.
Okay.
No.
Does it have
That one seems to be a fairly specialized piece of machinery.
Well, we're not very good at technology, is my excuse.
That one is more like it tracks data over time and stores it. That's basically all it does. and then it can
Looking at
spit
the
it out.
still image, like the security image, would we be able to figure out anything else besides the fact that it's probably in Anna's room?
That depends. What else are you? What kind of thing are you trying to figure out?
I guess basically just more information on if there was an occult ritual, like what we're dealing with, what would get it away. Just something to, try and help.
Right. No, it doesn't seem. It just looks like a normal girl's room, other than the big floating blob and the medical machine behind her bed.
Can we see the door?
No, this is basically from the south. The view
From
is
the
like from the
south wall.
southwest corner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it has windows?
Yes, there is a window.
Oh, but we can't leave.
What's that?
I was going to suggest we go outside, go all the way around, and then like levitate, or get the unknown to levitate miles up, or Cobalt maybe, who's probably even lighter, up so we can see through the window.
We could go try it again. I mean, one of the forces here has been somewhat appeased. Maybe we need to double back and see if something else triggers. So, just a thought.
I think that the Anna force was never antagonistic towards us.
No.
That's my guess. And so appeasing her didn't really change anything because she wasn't the one negatively impacting us in the first place.
We could go ask Randolph. Maybe he knows what's up.
Randolph, I like that.
Ghost Randolph.
Yeah.
Or
Or
Randolph's
Grandfather
grandpa.
Randolph.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From a long line of Randolphs who have been
Yes.
serving the rich in the region for hundreds of years.
I mean, last time we had to all leave the room for something to happen. So
It's possible.
maybe we do that first.
Yeah.
The stroke of brilliance, it seems, because you hear another lock echo from down the hall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. So I guess Lucas will wander back down towards the only one that hasn't been opened.
Mm-hmm.
Not open up the door for real.
Okay.
Pop something in stainless steel. Or are you going to shoot up Anna's room?
So, do you open up the door?
For real. That means yes.
Lucas, are you opening it up or?
Yeah, sure. Lucas will open the door.
Okay. So you open up the door, and nothing happens.
Oh.
You see a room that is quite similar, or even identical to the room in the feed from the TV. Almost as if it was captured right before now, except that there is no figure in the bed or above it.
I guess we cautiously meander in.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep. So let's see.
Ooh, journal.
Yeah. So that seems to be a young girl's diary.
Oh no, that's breach of
Dear
privacy.
diary.
Turn
Rotom.
Esme's was upside down.
Rotom's my best friend, and Billy's so cute.
The only other thing you kind of notice in the room is the medical machine from before. She has a large shelf or set of drawers. Some of them seem to be for clothes. Some of them seem to be for toys, apparently. Which is why it's larger than the ones in her parents' room. And there's a small stuffed animal in the bed, like on the pillow.
Right.
And then the diary itself, if you wish to peruse it.
Oh, I'm sorry, Anna. Please forgive us. We were just trying to help.
You don't have any like hairs on the back of your neck stand up or anything. There doesn't seem to be any sort of response there.
I guess I read the diary.
Okay. So what you see is that it spans quite a long time. The diary is pretty thick. It seems like she's been using this for a decent amount of time. There's the odd drawing every once in a while because evidently she likes to draw. But mostly it's writing and fairly neat handwriting. The one thing that you notice is that it used to be very regular. Like she would write in it every day, and sometimes even like multiple times a day. But of late, it's become more sporadic. With sometimes with like a few days between even. The latest entry talks a little bit about her day. Doesn't seem like there's anything significant there. But after that, it says in a uncharacteristic, well, maybe not uncharacteristically, but it seems oddly mature for a girl who seems to be her age. And it says, I'm scared and it hurts, but I have to be brave for Mama, Papa, and everyone else. They've always said they like it best when I smile. Papa says I'll be fine, and I believe him. Mama plays music on the piano to help me sleep. I have Buttons here with me like always. I hope I get better soon so I can play outside again. And it ends there.
Oh no.
Buttons.
Whose Buttons?
The toy doll or the Rotom? Or
So-
both. Maybe the toy doll has
wait,
things
sorry.
in it.
Where's the? Is there a toy doll that? Sorry, I
Yes,
did I miss
there's
a
a
toy doll?
there's a stuffed animal in the bed basically on the pillow, like tucked in basically, and it does have buttons for eyes.
That's classic child
Is that a
naming a
bayonet?
thing.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, hang on, isn't that a Pokemon?
What, a Bennett? Yeah. It's got
No,
buttons
no,
for
no.
eyes, I think.
Yeah, sure.
There's another one, isn't there?
No, it's
Or am I
Bennett and
thinking
Mech
of
Bennett.
Driftloon?
There's a Smogon that has buttons for eyes.
I think I was thinking of Driftloon and misremembering it having
I-
buttons. Oh, it could be Mimikyu.
Love Mimikyu.
But yeah,
Um,
if you want, you can scrutinize the doll. It's kind of just sitting there.
She ain't
Right.
looking good.
Yeah, I can Pokédex check it, but I don't think it's gonna be useful, but I can try.
Yeah, it seems like a normal doll.
X to
it-
doubt.
It's seen it's seen
Better days.
very regular use. It seems like it's been taken care of. You can see some evidence that it's been fixed up a little bit over the years, but clearly it's been much loved.
Does it
Can you
feel
get any weird shit off of this thing?
Does it feel ghosty? There's an occult Ed.
Make me an oh, you gave me? Okay.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
Hmm. We hold out the flowers towards buttons, see if we get any feelings.
Does not seem to change the atmosphere in the room.
Hmm.
Is this another? A, is Cobalt looking at anything in particular? And B, is this another like medical machine?
So Cobalt is not looking at anything in particular. So basically, if you think of it this way, this is the server, and that the other one in the master bedroom is the client.
Sure, that makes sense.
Yeah. So this one is the one that actually takes the measurements when the person is here.
Yeah, makes sense to me.
Miles
We
is
Pick
gonna
up buttons.
pick up buttons
Okay.
and sit on the bed and have buttons on his lap and think about
Become
Anna
fucking possessed.
and become possessed. Yeah.
Miles is 13 and likes to play with dolls.
Miles can do what he
Don't
wants.
diss Miles.
I'm not saying I didn't say any. I didn't make any judgment. I just stated a fact and
You
then
just
stated
made a
another fact.
statement, yeah.
Just
Made two
stating.
statements.
Not hating, just stating.
Yeah. And Miles sits on Anna's bed for a little bit, and nothing seems to happen. After a little bit, I don't know about you, but you might start to feel a little bit silly. But Miles does get um,
Eviscerated.
basically a war. Yes. You see the shreds. You blink. You all blink at the same time. You see the shreds of Miles spread across the bed.
Oh God.
And the medical machine says, "You are not
But
healthy." No. So Miles gets basically a warning call from the unknown that he left outside.
oh, guys, outside. There's something's happening.
Oh,
What, in the hallway?
Yeah. Go.
okay.
And then Miles will tuck the tuck buttons back in and follow out.
Okay.
We must show respect.
Yes.
Yeah. So outside, the first thing you notice is that the moonlight has become almost supernaturally bright. It's almost blindingly bright, actually, and it's coming in from all the windows, seeming to ignore the laws of physics of how light actually works.
Gosh dang it, Lunala.
And as soon as Miles leaves the bedroom, the door slams shut behind him, and you all hear the simultaneous locking of all the doors in this hallway. And after a few seconds, you hear the simultaneous unlocking of some of the doors.
Bad end.
It is still very bright here, and it reminds you of how the moon felt when you were having that dream back at the campsite in Eterna.
Oh. Anna, you here?
And you hear a very faint giggling coming from Anna's room.
Okay. That better not be murderous giggling, young lady.
It's not. It sounds pretty nice, actually.
Okay, guys, I guess
So,
we're
is
playing a
the
game.
door open?
The door is locked.
Is this door open?
Yes, it is. But before we do that, I have to ask if people want to continue today or next week because it's getting late.
I can continue.
I can carry on for a bit, yeah.
Okay.
I think Mag's the person with the most stringent requirements.
Right.
Well, actually, I'm probably the least stringent. I'm totally good to go.
Okay, well, I didn't know if you had family matters to attend to.
Well, she's asleep at the moment, so.
Sure.
But yeah, you can open up the door here. And it seems to be almost as you left it, except the moonlight is bright here. And the trash bin seems to be more full than before.
Oh. More failed songs?
Seems like it. More iterations of the same song.
Chance.
But this time, the piece of paper or the sheet music on the piano itself is almost complete.
Mhm.
Oh.
And unlike before, it actually has a title to
Is it Y'all Gonna Die?
it. It is not. It's a word that you feel like you've seen before. Oh my god. No, it can't. God, you can't do that to me. I guess too soon.
What?
It's To the Moon. It's a To the Moon reference. Anyway. No. It's, You don't really know what the word means because it might be in a different language, but it says Arasion. And you might not remember that out of character, but in character, I think you've seen that name once before.
Oh.
Do you remember what it is, or no?
Oh,
It was.
in cave,
Oh,
right?
yeah, we saw it in the. Oh,
In the
crap.
musical tower episode, it was one of the songs that was in the buried house, I think.
Yes,
Yeah, you're
but
right.
but the actual record wasn't there. It was an empty. It was an empty case, basically.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
it's Spanish for prayer, I think.
I think that would probably be accurate, given what I know of it.
That's...
I was just waiting for y'all to finish your thing. Yeah. So with more of the music available, I'm hoping that I get a circumstance bonus on it or whatever, since I've already played part of it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'll do it again.
Sure. So
Even better.
yeah. So now, with a little bit of extra confidence from the positive reception you got last time, Chance plays the more complete version of the song. And as you play, um, it's almost as if a breeze blows through the room,
Ooh,
and you
cold
hear
spot.
some of the papers in the waste bin rustling. About 2/3 of the way through the song, you hear what sounds like a young girl's laughing, and it's echoing. Or it's like you're hearing an echo. It's not super clear, um, and it seems to be coming from a different room, and the moonlight in the room seems to fluctuate a little bit in brightness. But other than that, there is no response. When you end the song, you hear some banging on the wall from Anna's room, just twice, and then there's silence.
Play it again.
Walk over and like knock on the wall twice. Do I get an answer?
You don't, but you feel like you're doing something wrong when you do that.
All right. Well,
Almost as if you're a kid with his hand in the cookie jar being caught.
Oh. Let's leave. Okay, well, what about this room?
Okay. So, before that, when you attempt to leave the room,
Oh.
you don't get to the door. You feel a chill down your backs, and you can't seem to bring yourself to walk any further. And as you're turned to face the door, the room starts to go dark as the moonlight fades.
keep my back to a wall and like let Sola look about, and hopefully she can catch whatever the fuck's going on because she can see in the dark.
Yep. So she's staring at something on the wall.
Which wall? Sorry.
The wall with the window.
Oh, over here.
I've chosen
Yeah.
poorly.
Yep. So, Sola is staring at the painting, and the painting right now has glowing purple eyes.
I mean, Lucas will do something that he should have done fuck knows how long ago, and just like reach into his like, take off his backpack, open it, reach in, take out a fuck off enormous mag light torch that he carries all the fucking time, and just like point it around.
Okay. So as he turns on the mag light, I'll just call it a flashlight. The glow from the painting fades. And after a few seconds of looking around, he feels a cold, wet sensation sliding up his neck.
Lick.
Oh, what the fuck? That is just like jump. Turn. Yeah.
And you hear a different kind of cackling from very close by. But as if you turn around, you don't see anything right then.
If I can, I'll try and get Solar to use Pursuit.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, if she can't miss, so there's no point in me rolling.
Yep. So, as it, whatever it is, tries to fade away from behind you, Sola immediately leaps, and it doesn't seem to do the same amount as it normally does, because instead of, so I'm gonna say that usually when you use dark type moves, like the appendage being used usually has like a black purplish glow. Instead of that, if you recall, this time it's currently green.
Oh, I didn't know she was still green.
Nope, it's still on.
Okay.
And so Sola has her jaws around something, but unusually for when she's against a ghost, it doesn't seem to take it down immediately. But it is there. Like, it can't seem to move right now.
So I guess there we go. Points his torch at the thing. Gotcha.
You bitch.
Okay.
So
So
Miles and Chance actually straight up not because
Ma-
Chance was playing the music.
Miles never entered the room this time. He's been in the corridor the whole time.
sure, I would say that Chance is still in there as well with them. Miles can be in the corridor.
Sure.
But he doesn't hear anything from outside. And
Found our mischief maker, or one of them.
Spiky boy.
And the haunter really doesn't seem to like the light. It's so I'm gonna say that Sola is like bit onto its torso. So its hands are free, and it's using its hands to try to cover its eyes from the light.
I guess Lucas will like point it away at this point. He doesn't want to. He doesn't really want to like torture it or anything. It's just like, what the fuck is going on?
Can I wrap
Right.
my scarf around its like little pointy eyes?
Sure, you can do that.
You baby.
But as after Sola pursues it, and you shine the light on it, you no longer feel the creeping sensation you had from earlier that was preventing you from leaving.
Sure, mean look or whatever.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. I mean, Lucas will look at the other two and be like, any ideas? I'm not the expert on ghost types.
I mean, well, Pokehead check, Rev.
Why
Okay.
is it doing it?
I mean,
Yeah,
it's a haunter. It looks fucking around and finding out, right?
Yep. So I don't think you need a Pokemon check for this one. It's a pretty common knowledge. Although you did roll well, so maybe you get a little extra. So basically, haunters they have strange personalities. It's a little bit contradictory at times, like the accounts of them. So they're mischievous, and so some accounts say they're just mischievous. Some say they're quite dangerous. They steal life energy, which is true, but the extent of that hasn't really been pinned down very well. And other accounts say that they're very loyal, but not a lot of people have or choose to raise haunters.
Look at this spiky boy.
Does Esme try and hug the haunter?
Esme would at the very least try and pet it with her scarf.
Do your hands go straight through haunters?
So that depends on how they're feeling at the time, I think, because they are gaseous, but I think ghost Pokemon can also be corporeal when they want to be. I think in this case, it doesn't have much of a choice because Sola is clamped onto it. is forcing it to be corporeal at the moment. So I would say Esme can indeed pet it.
Hmm.
As mixed of a message that might be.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, the
Do-
fact
do we-
that they have phasing implies that they can just choose to be corporeal. So
Right.
So do we do anything with this? Like what
I could
what we
put him in a.
supposed to do?
I could put him in a Pokeball for right now.
You
Right
could
now,
try.
I'll let him go if he wants to be let go. I'm not a monster. Jeez. Sheesh. It's only to make sure
Okay.
he's not like being a mischievous little troll. And it's not
Yeah.
like Solo can just walk around with him clamped in her jaws.
Probably could, but it would be a little unwieldy. Hunters are actually, or Ghastlies and Hunters are apparently actually quite big. So,
but they're also
it's
made
like,
of gas. So
it's like holding a really big balloon. It's still kind of unwieldy.
Is that okay with you, little friend? Do you
Ah!
are you okay being in a Pokeball for a little bit?
Based on your previous Pokédex, I think you can get a feeling of its intentions, and it seems to be expressing anything. Just get me out of this situation, please.
Okay.
Really don't like where I am right now.
Okay. Pet, treat in mouth, even if it doesn't do anything, gently boop with Pokeball.
Sure. So it does shake a few times, but at the end it completes.
Right.
You temporarily or not temporarily have a Haunter.
Miles, I
Cool.
made a friend!
yay!
Well, Lucas is still like wiping the like ghost spit off himself, if it's even there, or at the very least, like wipe.
Protoplasm.
Wait,
Excuse me.
Solo gets a treat too. Solo's a good girl. Good girl, Solo. You bit a ghost.
Unfortunately, Solar is now the only Pokemon I have with me that isn't fainted that knows Pursuit, and she's currently Grass type. But yeah,
You'd think that would have faded. That's why I put Liddy away. I remembered Liddy was still grass type.
Mm-hmm.
I guess if we can actually get out the door at this point, I will.
Yep. You can.
Miles,
So,
I caught a triangle boy.
The door itself was never locked. You just couldn't.
Yeah, it was a
Go
feeling.
towards
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, I suppose the other question is, was the Haunter the thing causing all this? Like, did we hear the doors all unlock or anything? Like,
Nope. So
I don't think the Haunter
let's
could be quite
see.
that powerful on its own.
Yeah. So your impression is the Haunter just happened to be there. It
He was
might
just
have
trolling.
caused. Yeah, it might have caused the moonlight to be temporarily blocked in that room, but now that you're all in the hall, you see that it's still as bright as before, unnervingly so.
I'm gonna keep
So-
the Pokeball wrapped up in my scarf so he has a nice dark space. Oh, good boy.
something to ask.
I'm just gonna do this so that you're aware of which ones you visited again.
Sure. Does anyone know if this, and he points at like Solar's general current greenness, can I get rid of this with a full heal? I've got one on me. Because
I
that
could
says the description is cures all persistent status afflictions, but I don't know if this is a status affliction.
Oh,
It's like a curse, I think.
yeah, I was gonna say it's a curse. And honestly, it's probably more narrative than it is mechanical.
Mm-hmm.
So
It does have
Okay.
mechanical ramifications, but out of character, that would not cure it now.
Sure, that's fine. I guess wander along again. This one was locked, right?
Correct.
And still is locked.
Yeah.
I guess we keep going.
So that one is also still locked, or also locked now.
I guess this one just wants to make sure we're getting our exercise. He wanders along to the next door.
Oop. Chance
Let's
got
see.
lost in the blob.
As he does.
this one does.
Hello.
So that one is not locked.
Okay.
Can we come in?
Well, no one responds, but the answer seems to be yes, as the handle turns.
Oh, this is the one with the telly in it. Well,
Mm.
Lucas will like walk in, and I guess I'll like eyes peeled to see if there's actually anything on the telly, or if the
Yeah.
fucking portrait's moving or anything.
Is the VCR now working?
The VCR is not working, but the
Yeah.
television is on. It's no longer staticky. It's much clearer now, and there is the same bright moonlight in the room as there is in the rest of the house right now, apparently. So
Okay.
the television shows the same vision as before, or the same view as before. But like I said, it's clearer. You can now see that the black haze um, above Anna is not a haunter. You can rule that out. It's more. Let's see. Everyone who's in this room, make me a call that guy.
Oh god.
I probably. Are you gonna call me in?
Yes.
Okay, I'll come in.
Good.
This is not because it's a ghost. This is because it's a myth.
Boom.
Lucas thinks it's a Pikachu.
It's
I mean-
Pikachu.
It has some like thunderbolty shaped designs, so maybe if the lighting was correct.
No, honestly, Lucas thinks there's something wrong with the camera.
Okay,
Yeah.
sounds good. It is still like a dark blob, so I can see why you would think that. So while Miles is identifying it, the rest of you can notice that, as might have been expected, Anna's expression is scrunched up in pain at this point. She is still twisting and turning around. This seems to be like a clearer version of the previous image or I guess video that was shown. And as after the black figure moves in, and then moves away again, Anna stops squirming, and her expression seems to be a lot more relaxed.
Hmm.
And after trying to figure out what that thing is, Miles will recall some stories about a mythical Pokemon that presides over, or not presides over, but is known for causing sleep and nightmares.
Mm.
Oh. Oh.
And I think you know what that is.
Are we talking Darkrai?
You might be.
Is it Darkrai?
Yes.
I'm
Darkrai
not
is
good at the
nightmares.
later gen lore, but I think it's Darkrai.
I'm pretty sure
What?
it's Darkrai, yeah.
Later gen is Gen
4.
4.
Which to me is later gen because my childhood Pokemon stopped at 2.
Okay, this is still the
Wow.
first half of all the generations that currently exist.
Yeah, I mean, it's more that it came out when I was, well, I don't even know when it came out, but I wasn't old when it came out. Like,
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Darkrai. Pretty sure.
Yeah.
You and your
it
Darkrai.
is, yeah. OC, it's Darkrai.
I would say in universe it's not as well known as, like the creator legends in this region for obvious reasons. But there is probably some documentation that Miles has happened across in the past about it.
Okay, well, I mean, if there's nothing like weird going on in here, then I'm gonna head out again and just
Okay,
keep
so
on wandering.
before you turn around, I'm assuming everyone's looking at the TV.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The TV is going to flashbang all of you, basically.
Ah.
Ah.
Right as you're staring at it, and as you're rubbing it out of your eyes, you hear, let's see, Miles and Esme get shunted out of the way of where they're currently standing,
Blah. Oh.
And so
Hello.
those kobolds. And when you can rub away most of the after effects of the flash, you see that the TV is now blocking your way out.
Wait, what?
The entire TV and cabinet seems to have moved to
Can I-
block.
Can I try and like max strength it out of the way?
That would seem to be a good idea, but as you move to do so, things from around the room start floating.
Poltergeist.
What was behind the television now that it's no longer in the corner? Anything?
Nothing, just where a power plug would go. And now it's distinctly unplugged, but it's still showing. Now it's showing static again.
Sure.
And the cabinet opens and cassettes start floating around as well.
Oh no.
Lucas is just going to turn to Cobalt and be like, "Can you see anything, buddy? Do you know where it is?"
Give me a second.
Turns out it's just Miles' latent powers awakening.
God, is he mob?
Yes.
Oops.
I'm gonna nip to the loo real quick. I'll be back in a minute.
Eh,
No. I guess I'll grab a drink while he's doing that. Bio
Okay.
break.
Okay.
They're gonna come back and roll. Gonna be just be fucking dead. Ugh. I'm gonna be so bad here. Ghost Pokemon are some of my favorite types of Pokemon.
Oh my god, I fucking added the entire playlist to the queue. Hang on. Oh, I just realized I was playing that song for my own thing.
I would love to hear what Chance's chat is saying during all of this.
Back.
Hello.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. Can I assume that all of Miles' unknown are floating around in a cloud here right now, or are they outside?
I think Tom is still AFK, isn't he?
Oh, it's outside. Okay. Makes sense.
I mean, I imagine that they would be derping around Miles, but
Back.
Right.
There
Oh
we go.
god, what's happened to the music?
So, quick question for you, Tom.
Yeah.
Would any of your unknown follow you inside here? I'm assuming
Oh no, probably not.
no. Okay.
I mean, they're keeping an eye on the hallway, right?
Yeah. Okay. So, let's see. I don't think Chance is a Pokemon out right now. Is that correct?
That's
Would
correct.
he-
I don't have Miles.
Sure. Would you release something in this case? This is not yet a battle.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't release anything until it becomes a battle, probably.
Okay. In that case, the choice actually gets taken out of your hands because one of the Pokeballs at your waist jiggles a little bit, and something pushes one of the buttons. Oh,
this is no square.
why did I?
Ghost shouldn't be touching his no square.
And
Heldig.
is Heldig still up? Yes, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah.
Heldig, I think.
I think it's still up.
Yeah, well, I mean, he got a full night's rest and everything like that, so he might actually be at full HP.
Right. So, yep, that's fine. So basically, what's going to happen here is a couple of actions are going to happen per round, and you can do what you think is best to get out of the situation. Yes. So let me do something real quick. I think it's pretty clear this is what it is, but it's not. It's in the TV, so it's not targetable as a Pokemon right now. It's just because I have a couple actions bound to it. So each round, you guys have a chance to do any skill checks or have your Pokemon do something, or yourselves. I should say, and yourselves. But the Rotom's also going to do this.
What the heck?
I'm gonna throw pillows at us.
Yeah, so that's just the first part.
It's a pillow fight.
Nice.
The Rotom learned it from the little girl.
Yep, so the pillows go flying at Cobalt and let's see. Oh, actually, I see Esme doesn't have a Pokemon out. So let's change that for you.
Oh. Well, it can't be Sweet Pea. Sweet Pea would fill up the whole room.
Okay, in which case I guess it would be Tesla, the nearest thing. Oh, is Tesla also down?
No, I just forgot to.
Sure. It picks up the HP, but the pillows go flying at Sola or Cobalt and Tesla. I still haven't changed Tesla's name. Fix that later.
Okay. Do we
So
need to
they're
roll initiative on them, or?
maybe just to track turn order, but not really. It's not. This is not really a combat.
Sure.
Yeah, and you can put yourselves on the turn order too. I know there's not actually an initiative there, but that way we can keep track.
We can just use the same ones as our mons,
Okay.
right?
Sure.
In that
So
case,
Miles is out.
delete Miles's initiative, and I'll just put a random unknown in.
Okay. Sure. Then just Heldig is left.
Heldig.
LD is... What's that?
We need an initiative for Heldig.
Oh, gotcha. Heldig's initiative is 10.
There you
All right.
go.
I'm gonna. Well, I already started off with Rotom, so I'm just gonna do that. So the pillows don't hurt, but they distract. And then after that, I'm gonna throw some sharp objects at each Pokemon.
Oh, what the heck?
Let's do this in order. So Mordred's first, 15 AC.
Mordred is not in the room.
Oh, okay. So then, I guess Lucas gets to be extra lucky because one of those is probably aimed at Cobalt then, or
Yeah.
one of them is probably aimed at Sola.
Sure.
So the first one's aimed at Sola, second one at Cobalt, third one Heldig, and fourth one Tesla.
So does being vulnerable mean that you don't have any evasion?
Yes.
Okay, so they both hit. So
I
so
know we don't normally do trainer combat, but can Miles
Yeah.
intercept the one for Solar?
I would think so. Yes. These are cassette tapes. They're not not that dangerous, and you could probably hold it down if you felt like it.
Miles would like to intercept the cassette tape going for Solar.
Okay. And sure.
Okay.
He makes it. quite handily.
Yep.
No!
So basically, yeah. So basically, you can do that, and then it just takes up Miles's like action for the round.
Sure.
Yep. So
Okay.
that's perfectly fine. So that's Miles's action. Sola, I'll put Sola, Cobalt, and you as Lucas together here.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
So, right. So I'm gonna make an assumption. So I'm gonna do some stuff in my turn basically. So Lucas is gonna wander over run to the door, I guess. I assume it won't open.
The telly is in the way.
Oh, that's what you. Yes, sorry,
Yes.
I didn't remember. So if the telly's in the way of the door,
Mhm.
then
Telly.
what are we supposed to do here?
Charm it.
I think Esme had the right idea. You just have to shove it out of the way.
Just move it out of the way. Yeah, I mean, Lucas isn't particularly strong, and neither are Solo or Cobalt, unfortunately. But I guess just wander over to one side of the telly and try and shunt it, or at least
Okay.
make an attempt.
So yes. So basically, things are flying around the room. Whenever someone tries to push the telly, and it basically has a cumulative DC that you have to beat over time. But anyone who tries to shove it has to make me first a focus check, and then an
Oh,
athletics
God.
check.
Okay, well, that's not me then. Let's see if we can make this focus check.
It's basically
No.
the focus check. So basically, how it works is it's the focus check that you make gets subtracted from a penalty, and then that penalty gets applied to the athletics after. You rolled a 2, so that's a pretty big penalty on your athletics right now.
I mean, I guess I'll make my
Yeah, make the
3d6.
athletics. You might be able to shove it a little bit.
athletics.
Yeah, let me
Ooh.
put on a. Let me put on an overlay. Okay. Lucas tries to shove the TV, but is smacked in the face with a pillow, and is knocked a little bit off balance. He does not make any progress here.
I guess I'll stumble out the way in case anyone else wants to have a go at that.
Sure. Cobalt has a turn if you wanted to do something here, but otherwise it would be a Heldic plus chance.
I don't think Cobalt's any better at shunting things than I am. I don't think his check is very good. Have a look. Cobalt, what are your stats like? 3d6 plus 2 on athletics, and his focus is 3d6 plus 1. He's better at it than I am. So, Cobalt can have a go, I guess.
Okay.
So, that's focused.
Yeah.
That's athletics.
Okay.
TV push progress. I just noticed that.
And Cobalt actually dives underneath Lucas as Lucas gets smacked in the face by a pillow, and he uses Lucas as cover and basically puts his feet firmly against I guess even possibly the wall, and gives it a firm first shove.
Yep.
And it slides away a good distance. Okay. Heldig and chance.
Heldig and Chance are going to go over to the same side of the room. Chance is going to grab a pillow off of the ground
Okay.
and begin trying to use it as a shield to block like stuff off the room, and also keeping a firm grip on it so it can't be used as a weapon. And Heldig
Okay.
is going to run over to push the TV.
Okay.
So focus and then athletics.
Athletics. Yep, that's correct.
Focus.
Yep.
Athletics.
Okay. Okay. And
Ooh, you must have rolled well where we can't see.
yeah. So Heldig actually shoves the TV enough to reveal the door. But then you all hear a cackling come from the TV, and a face appears on screen. It's one that you know well and love. And it pushes back against Heldig. Let me do a thing.
What
Okay.
a little butthole.
And then after it does that, the Rotom pops out of the TV.
Okay.
It is now Tesla and Esme's turn.
Hug it.
Fuck.
Now basically the TV is back to covering approximately like half the door.
Fuck it.
Unfortunately, it's the side with the doorknob.
Can I have Tesla leer at it or give it baby doll eyes to kind of say you're being rude, stop?
Okay.
I guess I'll try leer? Question mark.
Okay. Sure. So that hits. It gets the Rotom's attention, I would say. It has seen worse, so it'll do what it says, but I don't know if it'll intimidate it. But it does put its attention on Tesla for now, instead of trying to shift the TV back or anything else like that.
Like the
Well-
idea of Esme going, "Oh, you're all babies," and just walking up and like suplexing the telly.
That's what I was gonna do. I can try. My focus isn't that good, but
Just
yeah, Esme was
yeets the
gonna.
telly.
Esme was gonna kind of like try to skirt around the Rotom while Tesla was giving him a look of disapproval.
It is suitably distracted.
Cool. Okay, so focus and then athletics.
Yep.
Oh, what is my focus? Oh, really? 3. I think I'm doing that right. Is that right?
No, you need to
You need
no
to,
space
you
between
left
the
the
three.
space. Yeah.
Oh, okay. You think I'd be like good at this by now, but you know.
I think you did it. Yep.
There you
Yep.
go.
Focus and then athletics.
There you go. Wow, that's just over which. So the focus penalty is 15. So the focus basically acts against that, and then the rest is just gains from athletics. So those just over what is needed. So, taking advantage of the Rotom's distraction, Esme yeets the TV the rest of the way, revealing the doorknob once more.
Fly, you fools!
Pretty
Um,
much.
Yeah, so you have... Okay, so seeing this, the Rotom will turn and jump back into the TV,
Sir,
but it'll take some time for it to do anything. So you basically have a round to leave.
Dodge.
Yep. So assuming you leave, then you're free to do so.
I mean, I'm gonna get out of the room. I don't really want to. Don't want to play catch the cassette with my face with the Rotom.
it
But
says
it's
me
pretty
doesn't need to hold the TV back. So
Yeah. It's still settling in basically.
fly, you fools!
No.
Fly, you fools!
No.
Can I pick Miles up and eat him?
Grapple check. Come on, let's go. Opposed athletics or combat.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, is grapple check actually a real thing?
Yeah. That's what you've asked to do.
Okay, what do I need to roll?
Athletics or combat, your choice.
Wonder
Probably
if it's the 5d6. You almost can't lose.
Yeah, so Miles protests for some reason, but Esme, how do you want to pick up Miles?
Just around the
Let's
waist.
fucking go.
Princess Carrie? Okay. So romantic, but
Miles is 13.
13.
and Esme's
He's-
16.
Yeah, he's a rich boy. He's used to princess carries. Come on, you little twerp. Let's go.
No.
Work.
And Miles is taken along for the ride.
Kicking.
And the door slams shut behind you.
That was a very naughty
Right.
Rotom. Leslie, you can go back in your ball. You a good boy. You, on the other hand, Mr. Miles.
Can also go back in your Pokeball. Wait,
Yeah.
what?
Are you putting Miles down?
Oh. I mean, yes, but, like,
Miles-
also stepping back because I expect a knee kick.
Miles goes back to the door.
What is wrong with you? The Rotom is not friendly.
It's not. We didn't even try to talk to it. We did.
It's very
Esme, we didn't try to make friends with it.
Oh god, you're right.
No.
Esme is filled with existential.
I was
Yeah.
worried about my
Right.
friends.
Yeah, it's dead, maybe.
No! Knock, knock, open back up.
The handle turns, but let's see.
The door leads to a soulless void.
No, the door leads to the back of a television, so you can't get in.
Can I knock on the back of the television and be like, I'm sorry. I was worried
So
for
you
my
can
friends.
you can barely open the door. So you can't fit your hand through to knock on the television. But you can open it a little crack and maybe attempt to speak to it.
I'm sorry, little Rotom friend.
I would like to try and improve its disposition, if I may.
Okay.
Rotom friend, we're trying to help. We want to help your dead ghost girlfriend.
Bruh.
She has a name,
Bruh.
you know.
I'm gonna throw some
So
treats in the sliver. Just,
Just flick them into the room.
I wonder what
sorry.
Rotom would like to eat. Maybe batteries? No, that's Joltik. You hear... What would this sound even be? You
Screech?
hear... No, you hear the sound of cassettes going back into the rightful places inside of the TV shelf. And you hear the sound of the TV moving aside a little bit.
Let's put this on the charger.
Is it moved aside enough that Miles' slim frame can wriggle into the room again?
Not into the room, but you can open the door a little bit more.
Eh.
It's the equivalent of like you being at the door and they have the latch closed, and now by magic
on a
they've made
chain.
the latch a little bit longer. Yeah,
Yeah.
the chain has gotten longer, so you can open the door a little bit more.
This may help. It's sad and angry.
Do you want to yeet me across the room? I'll let you.
So the rotom comes out of the TV and peers at you from above it, basically. It doesn't actually look particularly upset.
Why are you hurting us?
I just wanted to play.
I'm pretty sure it's playing a game.
Make me a your choice of intuition or Pokéed.
Both of us?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So you can both tell that it surprisingly doesn't seem upset despite throwing things at you. Although now that you think about it, they weren't, that harmful anyway. It seems to have. It makes a little shooing motion. It seems like it just wants you out of its room, kind of thing.
Okay.
But it actually seems kind of happy that you said that you're here to help.
You say the cassettes weren't that painful, but if they hit us, they put us 1/10 closer to passing out.
Well, hey,
Cassettes
getting
do hurt.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, little friends.
It does
Well-
its the rotom call. I'm not gonna try to imitate it, unfortunately.
We'll
But,
just think it's like Bwee Woo or something.
Wee
Yeah,
woo.
that thing. Bwee woo.
It's deadpan. Wee woo.
And, it doesn't go back. It doesn't go back into the TV, but it goes away from the doors so that you can't see through the crack anymore.
Okay.
Wee woo.
I'm gonna need your like deepest Bwee Woo at some point, like out of
Wee
campaign.
woo.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a manly fucking rotom.
Wee woo.
Rotom. I am the Rotom that does the crane at the shipyard. Wee woo.
God.
Yes. Yes. Or it's like a trash compactor.
Yeah.
Oh no. Now I'm gonna have to draw
Yeah.
the manliest road.
Mm-hmm.
Oh dear. Okay.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna try the only door we haven't tried yet.
Yep. And that door opens.
Sure. This is the room with like the diary in it.
The letter.
The letter even. Yeah, the
Yeah.
one where we
Study.
essentially learned that the kid was feeling ill.
Right.
Has anything changed in here?
So the moonlight for one. But
Oops. Oops. Oh god. There we go.
let's see. I'm going to say that there's a couple more letter drafts, kind of almost scattered around the table. The father's handwriting has gotten messier as it has gotten more. What's the word I'm looking for?
Frantic?
Hurried. Yeah, frantic is the word. And basically, there's a couple different and noticeably less diplomatic letters being sent to numerous people, telling them to essentially get their asses in gear, to do
Fix
something
it,
about this.
damn it.
Yeah, basically. And you can feel like beyond the anger that seems to be like in the letters, you also feel a sense of desperation there too. And the one that's directly in front of the chair is again to his brother. But it's a lot shorter here, and it doesn't talk about anything else. It tells them that he needs him to, I guess, get the best doctors that he can get from his city, because she's not waking up anymore. Damn it.
Bad as my noises. Is anything weird about the portrait or the window or anything besides the moonlight?
No.
Well,
Is
this is all a
Cobalt
bit-
solo?
this is all a bit macabre,
Mm.
kind of depressing.
We're in a dead person's mansion. Of course, Lucas, I love you, but God, Jesus.
Yeah, but like, why are we like being like dragged through the whole story by them? Like, what do they want?
They want us
Like,
to understand their
I
plight.
get that some they want what? Sorry,
They want us to understand their plight.
why? They're dead.
Lucas.
Dead people's feelings matter.
Not normally. They're dead.
Wow.
This man
Normally-
does not speak for the rest of us.
Normally they don't feel anything.
I can't believe
That's
you're
all.
so racist against dead people.
What is wrong with you lot? Why are we like being like I don't know, why are we getting like a slideshow as opposed to just like he just looks really bemused by this whole situation.
Lucas, they want us to empathize with them. You fucking emotionally don't just. Oh my god. Stop.
Who says I don't empathize with them? It doesn't mean I want to like fucking watch the whole thing play out in slow motion.
And at Lucas's tirade, the window behind him cracks.
Again, this man does not speak for the rest of us well-adjusted human beings with actual feelings.
Yeah. I'm the one who's
Yeah.
maladjusted. I'm the one who's forcing people to watch the story of someone dying.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
me. I'm the one doing that.
Can I literally just clap my hands across his, like, face cheeks and smush his face and just go shh. Stop talking. Just shh.
He looks so confused as if like, I'm the one who's the bad guy here. Yes, this is my fault. What's going on here is my fault. That's the look on his face. It's like, what the fuck? He won't stop her. He's not bothered. But it's just like, what?
Just put the arrow back in your mouth and shh. Just shh. Just calm down.
I've made us a present.
Oh.
General. There we go.
I hope it's not the last present that was sent there.
Thanks, I hate it.
That's kind of cute. I guess.
That's terrifying.
Good God. Whatever. Fine. Let's go off and do some more empathizing later. He just leaves. It's just
Who
like
hurt you? Who harmed you?
the
Jesus.
Rotom. He threw a cassette tape in my face, and then he leaves
it?
again.
10 of those cassette tapes would have knocked me out!
Is there an actual crack in the window here, or was that just Rev being Rev?
No, there's an actual crack in the window.
Can I investigate?
Sure. It looks like the kind of, so these windows are surprisingly sturdy. I guess they didn't cheap out on it when they were making it. But it looks like basically what something small and round hit it almost. The glass didn't shatter, but there's like a bit of a spider webbing happening there.
I see. If I try to leave the room now, is anything going to happen to me?
I've already left.
Yeah, because you
Yeah.
have no soul.
What are you No, seriously, now, on an OC note, I don't think it's a weird reaction at all to be like, why the fuck are you making me watch all this?
No, I think it's potentially reasonable. That being said, I don't know if you've met the person who's doing it yet.
No, that's the point. It's
And
why are you doing all this? Why don't you just like come out and speak?
I have also noticed that Lucas has no reflection in a silvered mirror, so...
Being a vampire doesn't mean you're emotionally crippled.
No, but the reason vampires don't have a reflection in a silvered mirror is because they have no soul.
Well,
Okay,
Silver was thought to
apparently-
reflect the soul.
Apparently, I'm the bad guy here, not the person who's making us watch what is like a very sad story for no reason.
you're just afraid to like.
Yeah,
get all
Rev.
more emotionally.
I guess, yeah. I guess that makes me a terrible person.
Oh, for God's sake! God damn it!
Oh, you know we're playing.
I
Lucas
know.
just isn't
Yeah.
in touch with his like vulnerable side.
This is Lucas's vulnerable
Lucas
side. He's angry.
Lucas considers his vulnerable side to be the bit below his rib cage because that's where he can get stabbed.
Yeah, pretty much. Right, Lucas is gonna just fuck off, like just storm off in the other direction and try and open the other doors after being berated for being mildly upset with whoever's doing all this.
No, I'm sorry, Lucas.
At least not paying attention.
Are we leaving?
No.
Are
Gonna
we
try and
going?
open the doors.
Okay. The master bedroom is now unlocked. I didn't have a chance to mention that, but
I just really like the idea of Lucas in character flipping a table and shouting, "I just don't want to be sad, god damn it!"
I can't deal with the sad ones.
It's about as close as you're gonna get to that from him. So
That
Yes.
one makes me sad.
so here, the light seems even brighter in this room somehow. And strangely, you see the figure of someone who you haven't seen, well, in the flesh, I guess, before. And he seems to be an older man, but he looks haggard. And he's pacing back and forth across in front of the machine, and he doesn't seem to notice that you're there. Instead, he's muttering to himself, basically. And eventually, while you're there, again, he doesn't notice you, but he starts shouting at the ceiling, saying that he would hunt down whoever was taking away the time he had left with Anna. And he whirls in your direction, but he's not looking at you. He's looking past you. But you get a bad feeling as he starts to walk towards you.
Oh.
yeah, nope. Fucking end to the ope.
Hello,
And
Mr.
oddly enough,
Mr. Maybe a doctor man. Hello. Was he a doctor or was he just concerned?
I think, yeah, no, I think he was not a doctor, but he got a whole bunch of medical journals and stuff like that to try to learn, because he was the only one that like cared about his daughter's condition as much as he felt like it should be cared for.
Mr. Aspiring to be a doctor. Hello.
and he actually stops in front of you, and he glares at you. And I imagine Miles has never been looked at like this before.
And Miles has been looked at a lot because that's basically all Unknown can do
Yes.
is look.
And he says under his breath, "Get out of my way."
Okay. Oop. Okay.
And he shoots you one last angry glare.
We're just trying to help.
You did
That
the best
seems-
you could.
That seems to trigger something in him.
Oh no.
Or trigger him, rather. Help? Help? nobody wants to help, and
I want to help.
He raises hands up, and if you, as Miles dares to claim otherwise, he screams at Miles.
And Miles screams back. It's
No,
like, ah, no!
No, I want to protect my small friend.
And while you're doing it, he's gonna get his 2 cents out, and he says, or he yells, if anyone wanted to help, then you would fix this.
I'm trying.
And Miles suffers from intense mental anguish. Make me a focus check.
Okay.
Oof. Should I also make one since I'm kind of trying to like
Sure,
protect
yeah,
Miles?
sure.
Let's see.
Okay. So, it's kind of interesting. Miles almost like withers under his tirade, not literally speaking, but you know, he shrinks a little
Figuratively.
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Esme manages to stand firm against it. The man is still clearly very angry, and you don't know exactly what he is. He does seem a little indistinct around the edges, so he's probably not a real person. That being said, that might actually make things worse because you don't know what he's capable of doing. But basically, Esme is able to stand up to him. What do you want to do from there, or anyone?
Miles is canonically cowering.
Yes.
I want to look into his eyes and gently but firmly say,
Gently but firmly pop a poker tree into his mouth.
"No, stop! I'm trying to have a moment."
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
go on, do go on.
I want to look at him and say, we're doing everything we can with what knowledge we have. I know you're angry. I know you're desperate. But we also know that you're doing everything that you can, and you should forgive yourself as best you can. Because we do want to help, and we're going to do our best. But being angry at us isn't going to help anything, and it's certainly not going to help you either. So please, just, we'll stay out of your way, but don't harm us, okay?
And he, after that, he stops. He opens his mouth a couple times as if he wants to say something, but he can't get anything out. So he basically just opens his mouth a couple times and then shuts it. It's clear he's struggling. So he, after Esme says her part, you can see that he's fighting back the emotion, and he turns around away from you and walks back into the room and stares at the health monitor, basically.
It's gonna be okay, one way or another. We'll leave now, but we're gonna do our best, okay?
And his shoulders sag, and he lets out a shuddering kind of sigh. And he says in a very quiet and defeated voice, I just want her to be okay.
I know. That's what we want to.
I
We're gonna
mean,
go now, okay?
He doesn't
before we
respond.
go,
Yep.
do you know what it is? I know it's not been fixed, but do you know what it is? What's the problem?
And he just shakes his head. He doesn't say anything else, and you can see that his image begins to fade.
It'll be okay. Nesme's gonna give Miles a hug until he stops cowering and being sad.
Miles is sad.
Come on. I know you're 13, but I can take your hand and we can go together. Let's go help this little girl, okay?
Okay.
Hey, come on.
Well, that was miserable. It's over to the other door.
Let's play.
All right.
Nobody makes me sad but me.
Today's session is meant to be some suffering. I hope
Yeah,
you,
but
I hope you enjoy suffering.
Yeah,
yes.
no. It like OC, I'm fine, but Lucas is getting very,
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
frustrated with whatever the fuck is doing this.
Lucas, do you want a hug?
Lucas gives you a very frank look, and then turns and opens the door.
One day you will want the hug. One day.
It's like no, like he lived in a setting where he'll have seen plenty of things die before. He doesn't really need to see it played out slow-mo. So yeah, he'll try and open the last door if it actually opens. I assume we heard the click again.
Yes, and it does open.
Dun, 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 dun.
So, the immediate thing you notice, as with all the other rooms, is the moonlight. It is very bright in here. But you also notice that there seems to be some disarray near the writing desk. The chair has been pushed back a little bit so that it's like not tucked neatly into where the desk is.
Why is my name Frank?
So you looked at her very frankly.
Oh wow!
Damn you, Red.
Good God!
To be frank.
You can be frank. You can be frank until the end of the scene.
Oh,
All right.
no. Fine,
least
I
the end
guess.
The other things you notice is that there is a pencil that is that has its, like the tip basically broken off violently, it seems, and it's lying on the ground. And you trace that back to the desk where there is a very heavy line drawn across the desk from the journal to basically the edge of the desk. And in fact, it seems like it was drawn hard enough to actually leave a gouge in the desk. Not like a huge one, because the pencil's not that strong, but it left a mark there. And it continues onto the page of the journal that it's open to. And it says, "It's been a week since I felt good enough to write again. Mama says I shouldn't force myself, but it's a good habit. Besides, Papa looks so worried all the time. I want to show him that I'll be just fine." And it cuts off there until where the line starts.
Oh no.
And after you read that, you hear, for a moment, you can see a vision in your mind's eye of Anna doubling over and falling to the ground, curled up in a shivering ball beside her desk. And after that, you hear a scream from behind you. Possibly, fortunately, it's not the scream of a girl.
Or
But
Miles.
or Miles. But you see buttons floating up off the bed. And it barely even had a mouth before. It was just a few stitches to make it look like it. But those stitches are ripping open, and it has what seems to be like an impossibly large maw that's like opening up from its face.
Is it a Bennett? Bennett?
And out of the maw, something crawls out.
Oh.
Is it another Ariados?
No, it is not another.
Should Pokehead check? Is it necessary? Oh.
It's a mega Burnett.
I see. Oh,
Well-
I
And
love
it
Bayonet.
looks-
That sucks.
And it looks very upset. And the last thing I'll leave you guys off with is that,
No.
like before in the cave, your Pokemon seem terrified of this.
No, I don't want the hugs. No. I'm so sad.
And that
Lucas turns away from the fucking journal and is like, man, I am really in the mood to hurt something.
You can't hurt the baby.
Lucas feels a negative emotion and it must be resolved by violence.
Yes.
well,
You fucking
Bennett
bet
is
that's
very
essentially
good.
it.
Bennett is very good at resolving negative emotions.
With death.
But unfortunately, that is where we're going to end off for today.
That's fair.
Oh. I want a Bayonet named Buttons. That's fucking adorable. We've even got the same fucking color scheme. Ah.
Oh dear. Well, thanks for that.
Yeah, that was great, Rove. Jeez.
No worries. It was as I told Amber, I may have started on this at 8 p.m. yesterday and did it until 4:30 in the morning, but
Oh my
Wow.
god.
it ended up pretty well. I had most of the ideas, just not the execution.
Well, it paid off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully it wasn't too much of a long drag. I know it was a lot of exposition, but
No, it's fine. Like the frustration was icy, not OC.
yeah, it's good to hear. All right, but yeah, we will hit the resolution next session.
I'm
Ooh.
hugging that fucking Bayonet, even if I die.
Hmm.
I'm just saying. I have warned Rev about this several times.
You have. And I look forward to seeing how you do that.
Was
Yes.
Burnett on your want list then?
I forgot to put it on my want list, but I have always liked Bayonet.
Is Esme's want list roughly how many Pokemon are there?
800 something?
Well, the actual physical want list is 2 Pokemon, so I don't know how long the actual want list is.
898 species plus
Okay.
Sage Degs.
I
Okay,
see.
so is Esme's want list roughly 898 plus Sage Dex minus the number of Pokemon she currently owns long?
Not quite, because there's
I-
multiple Eevees.
I was gonna say if she finds multiple Pokemon of the same kind, she probably will want those too.
Esme's want list is every Pokemon that exists in the world.
Listen! I think I have like 3 on there right now.
I
Jeez.
know. I'm
Like I
just
said,
scheming.
Oh,
I'm hoping we
God.
come across a Mimikyu at some point.
Oh, I fucking love Mimikyu too, but I'll behave.
Maybe a Vulpix. You a Vulpix fan?
I like
Well,
Vulpix.
Mimikyu, and then I also have Alolan Vulpix on my wish list, which is not
Aw.
impossible for this area because it's very ghostly inspired. So
Isn't
there's a
Alolan
chance.
Vulpix ice?
Yeah. Vulpix has always been a very ghost-oriented Pokemon, if not necessarily ghost type.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
The
it's-
Will-O-Wisp stuff and whatnot.
Yeah, it's typically found near like wherever the regional I guess grave site is.
Yeah.
Vampire in 3rd gen, I believe it's. I don't actually know where it is in 1st gen, but I would imagine it's like near Lavender Town.
Is Vulpix the first gen mon?
Mhm.
Yeah, it is.
Watch
Isn't
my
it?
wife calling me, so I'm gonna
Oh,
bail.
it's on the island in the mansion.
Oh, okay.
Which is full of
Yeah,
ghosts.
Yeah,
Right. Not very nice, but yeah.
yeah,
no.
yeah.
I was telling Rev before anybody else got here how much I just love ghost type Pokemon. I like spooky Pokemon in general, but I'm really trying to behave myself. But when it comes to Bayonet, I'm sorry, I'm throwing my best effort at it.
No, my favorite is still the original. I still like Ghastly.
Ghastly's
I like
pretty great.
Ghastly Haunter Gengar.
Oh, dude, Lucas should end up taking the Haunter in that case, so he can have
I
something
don't
that
think the
eternally
Haunter's
counts.
I
Yeah.
don't think the Haunter is Lucas's buddy right now.
But he could have somebody that like gets him to loosen up and trolls him. That's not Esme.
Yeah, just lighten up a bit.
Yeah.
I like Tom's summary there. Lucas feels a negative emotion and must resolve it with violence.
Yeah.
That's essentially what's going on.
I really like the idea that one day Lucas gets so frustrated he punches Esme in the arm, and she punches him back out of reflex, and he just flies off the fucking map. He's
Yes.
like, well, oh goodness.
Esme is secretly a fighting type in disguise.
And Solar just sort of watches the exchange, shakes her head, and walks off after Lucas.
It'll be a long trek.
Sola's so good. She's such a good girl.
Solar best girl.
Sola is best girl. Like, you know she's been getting treats this entire time. Probably mostly when Lucas hasn't been looking, but it's been happening.
Solar's slowly
Lucas
been getting
knows
fatter
and
and fatter.
Lucas
"Why are
knows
you
and
getting so
pretends not to
thick?"
notice.
He's like, why are you getting so thick? And Sola's like, oh. I don't know, dude. We're walking everywhere. What are you feeding me?
Solar's like a half-grown pup, I think, at this rate, right? At this
Yeah.
You know?
It goes to the extra energy goes to a good place.
Yes.
Yeah, she's a growing girl. She'll be fine. As long as she's not growing sideways.
Oh no. And Tom's
I mean, you gotta grow in all the dimensions. There's a little bit of there.
Oh no, in Tom's dream, older Solo's just like a fat fucking dog. Just resting on an armchair.
I've always wondered, is
Oh no.
Absol based on like a fox or something?
As with a lot of Pokemon, I think they're a mix.
Sure.
I'm fairly sure we've talked about this like 3 times.
Have we?
Yeah. It's
well,
based
my
on the
memory
Bazé of Chinese mythology.
A white beast. That's very helpful.
Yeah, but the picture that accompanies on the Wikipedia page is far more illuminating.
I was almost tempted to Google fat Absol and thought better of it at the last second.
Yeah, that's
on
probably
the
not a
Wikipedia
good thing.
page.
On the Wikipedia page
I think
for
it's based.
Oh yeah. Huh.
it's got what I posted in off topic.
Oh no.
It has an old man face.
It does have an old man face. Oh no.
Vietnamese, Chinese, White Marsh, Spookums.
Oh no.
Bovine or monstrous fellid creature with 9 eyes and 6 horns.
Wow.
Arranged in sets of 3 and 2 on both its flanks and its man-like face.
A man-like face.
The body of a lion.
I'm gonna have to dip out. I need a loo.
Sure.
Yep.
So thanks for running, Rev. I'm gonna disappear. I'm also gonna have my dinner at this point.
Yeah.
There is.
Yeah,
I guess
need
catch
to,
you all next week if I don't see you sooner.
Sounds right.
I need to bounce as well, but also thank you, Rev, for hosting.
Yeah, it was a great one.
Later.
Yeah, it was a good
Sounds
one.
good.
Bye,
It
guys.
seems to be
later.
whenever Darkrai is involved.
Yeah, Darkrai is a powerful source.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, have a good
Cool
one, guys.
Pokemon. Catch you later. Bye bye.
See ya.